Sumner 1.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Hump day?
The Cardinals win.
Cardinals are coming. Tra la 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 la. The Cardinals are coming. Tra la tra la. The Cubbies are going. Tra la tra la. Look out on the Bears. Tra la tra la. The Cardinals are coming. Tra la tra la. The Cubbies are saying.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley, Super Bowl champ Carey Davis, not wearing black and gold again today. Randy Karraker with you, and we are thrilled because our Cardinals have won 5 out of 6, and here come the Cardinals.
Wow. Don't trade anybody. Don't do anything.
We're buyers, Brooke.
Buyers.
What do you say we're going after?
Max Scherzer.
Okay, let's do it. It's done. We said it here.
We're within a game or two of the lead at the deadline. Bring him home.
There you go.
Let him be your number one starter for all of the playoff series.
How much does he make? What is that,
43 and a half.
Not my money.
Nothing.
No. Well, here's the thing, though. You got a lot of money coming off the books this year.
There you go.
And he's good.
He's really good.
He wants to win a World Series for his hometown. So that's my recommendation. Cardinals, I know you're listening. Let's go do this.
Rock is having deep sighs over there. He's really full.
He wants to be the Debbie Downer.
He is definitely
Is this an Eeyore day?
Oh, my goodness. You see, look outside. You can tell by the overcast.
Gloomy. He's gloomy.
I would call it a realism day.
Oh, of course you would.
Where I try to be a little realistic, and
of course you would.
I just think that the Pobo's right, and it's 2024, baby.
Now you think he's right, huh?
Randy, as you always say, these guys know so much more about the game than I do, so I should really defer to them. You're always right when you say that, and you know what? I'm leaning back on that advice this time.
Okay, here's what I'm looking at, though. I'm looking at the Cardinals being down a run, 7th inning, Nolan Gorman, Cardinal product that Carey Davis has said, he's pounded the table.
Yeah.
I am not trading this guy.
I am not.
And here's why.
Swing, fly ball, launch right center field. Still out back. That ball is off the base of the wall. It hops up high. Here comes Carson around third. He's coming home. Throw to the plate. Off target. Gorman ties it up with a double.
Chip with the call on Bally Sports. We are tied 2-2. The Cardinals get great work out of their bullpen. Giovanni Gallegos with a scoreless inning. Jordan Hicks with a scoreless inning. Jojo Romero with a scoreless inning. We go to the bottom of the 10th.
Nolan Arenado's last walk-off hit. Well, it's been a while. How about one right here? One ball, no strike.
Swing drive. Deep left field. That ball is gone. He can jog home.
And the Cardinals win at 5-2. The Redbirds winning 5 of 6 now. And if you haven't looked at the standings this morning yet.
Oh, weird.
Look at us. Look at
We are
us.
coming.
Tra-la.
Look at us.
Oh, 4th place and 3rd is in our sights. We are tracking.
Oh, yeah. We're trending in the right direction,
We are.
Randy.
And you know what? Here's the thing about this team. It's kind of like a horse race where there's like a stalking horse in front of them called the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's kind of like a carrot. The Brewers are just kind of like a carrot. And the Cardinals get off to that slow start. You know, they're just kind of in the middle of the pack or at the back of the pack for a long time. But then all of a sudden, man, we hit that turn and here come the Cardinals.
I don't know why you guys don't listen, because how many times have we heard that the Cardinals are a second half
We've
ball
heard
club?
that. We have
They
heard
get
that.
hot as the weather gets hot. The weather has been kind of hit or miss lately, and it's starting to get consistently warmer, so it makes sense.
Brooke, for some stupid reason, I have kept this little envelope. I don't know why I keep a 101 ESPN envelope in my book where I keep my live spots, okay? Last 6 years, prior to the All-Star break, the Cardinals have played 507 ball. Last 6 years after the All-Star break, the Cardinals are 256 and 174. That's a 595 clip. They are a second-half ball club without question. And that is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 20. So that's more than 6 years. I don't count 20 because it was stupid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, not 6. And 20 was the COVID year, so that was. I don't count anything in the COVID year. No, those numbers should just be erased from the books. They should put an asterisk next to it.
No, those aren't real. Those aren't real
Nolan
numbers.
Arenado, if you aren't aware of it, in July, hitting 321, 374 on base, 679 slug. An OPS of 1.053, 44 hits, 24 extra base hits, 35 RBIs, and the desire of Ken Rosenthal to have him traded.
Do you want to expand on that? Because that was interesting when you told me that this morning.
Yeah, Matthew was checking that out. He was on with A.J. Brzezinski's podcast.
Yeah.
Rosie, who is a noted, he doesn't love the Cardinals. He thinks that they should trade their Hall of Famers. Rather than try to get better, he thinks they should trade their best players.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, he was on with Eric Kratz and AJ Brzezinski on Foul Territory, and he pretty much said, it's rebuilding time, and that's how you rebuild. Is you get the biggest haul for those names, and that was the thought process.
You see, that's a tear down. That's not just a rebuild. That's a tear down. There's also a thing called no trade clauses that I believe
he did throw out the fact that complicates a move for either of those guys and probably hurts their value a little bit, which seems like it would kind of
a little bit.
Did anybody ask him about how well the Marlins have performed since they traded Giancarlo Stanton? Or how the Red Sox have done since they traded Mookie Betts? Did anybody ask those questions?
No.
I think it needs to be asked of Ken Rosenthal.
They actually thought that Ken was being really, really soft on Mo and the Cardinals.
I wonder if Ken Rosenthal has any idea what the statistics are of teams that have traded former MVPs. Because they're abysmal, Kenny.
Not great.
No, and I don't care because Kenny's not coming on our station anyway. But he's
not a fan.
He's supposed to be an insider. Passing's way better.
Oh my goodness! I wasn't expecting at 7:08. Your time check brought to you by what? Or should we
Clarkson
say
Jewelers, an officially licensed
time check will say your morning slam brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers from Randy this morning.
So
Ken Rosenthal.
there you go.
Write it down.
Keith and Ken not doing great on the show today.
That's in the guest booking thing. But here's one thing he should know. Okay, Ken Rosenthal is a National Baseball guy, smart, tied in. He should know that Bill DeWitt Jr. has an incredible appreciation for the statistic that since 1909, it's 2023 right now. It's 2023. So for 114 years, the Cardinals every single season have had a Hall of Fame player in uniform. Every single year.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are very proud of that statistic. That is not a statistic that Bill DeWitt wants to trade away so that he can go 62 and 100.
No.
Yeah, no. That doesn't sound like an ideal thing to do.
It doesn't make any sense.
They are playing better. I guess the frustrating thing is you knew this team had this potential all season long.
The players, the names on the back of the jerseys. How long have we said it?
They are the ones that had to come up and play. Superstars have to be superstars in those moments. Nolan Arenado was last night. You got a home run from Brendan Donovan. You got a big hit from Nolan Gorman, my guy. I am excited about this team when they're playing well. And when they're not playing well, you can really see what's going to happen. It's the men on the field that have to perform when the time is presented.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, everything that
CD.
You want a little dose of reality?
Go ahead.
Everything that happened in the first half of the season?
The Dakota Hudson pitches tonight.
And what's
He's gonna
wrong
be on
with
fire.
that?
He's going to be on fire.
Okay, Dakota Hudson this year, kids.
Yes.
1-0 with a 1.80 earned run average. I believe that earned run average leads the National League, if I'm not
There
mistaken.
you go. He's going to be on fire tonight.
Am I right?
He probably
Am I right?
doesn't
How many
qualify.
innings?
Doesn't matter.
Probably doesn't
how many
qualify.
innings?
This is Brooke.
How many innings?
I clicked all players rather than qualified. I clicked all players.
There you go.
I think innings might matter a little bit with that statistic.
Last week was his first win since September of last year. It was also the first time he's pitched more than 3 innings
slow clap.
since September of last year.
Let me tell you something. Okay? Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, let's put a little dose of reality into your little mind. Okay, your little mind.
Hit me with it.
Okay, last year in April. Okay, Justin Verlander, his first win since the previous July, the July before. Justin Verlander, what did he do? He went out and won the Cy Young Award. Thank you.
There you go. That's all we need.
How many times has Justin Verlander won 16 games in his career?
Not as many as Dakota Hudson, I don't think.
Check
that out. Check those stats.
Okay. And by the way, Dakota Hudson has a future. Justin Verlander is.
He's on the tail end.
Yeah.
He's had a good career.
He has.
Pretty good.
I would take him on my team.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade Dakota Hudson for him.
Not right now.
No. Because then I need a starter for tonight.
Justin Verlander has 10, 16 wins.
Okay, maybe 10. Still.
Oh,
Dakota Hudson has one?
okay.
one.
There's some differances. I
years
believe
ago.
that we can point to.
So your Cardinals are no longer in last place.
That's
Yep.
a start.
Yep.
All right, how many days were we in last place in the division?
Too many.
Way too many.
Too many.
Probably more
And
than I can
my
remember.
2023
All the years
World Champion
combined.
Pirates tell us again, it's a long season.
Hey, you can only go up from here, right?
If you're Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
I think you
I
might
don't
be
know.
able to go down a little
I
bit
don't know
further.
that they can. I told you earlier this year, my friend called me and was like, they couldn't believe how well the Pirates were doing. The city was buzzing in Pittsburgh. They were so excited, and then now, just
All of a sudden it's July.
Back to the regular scheduled program. Here we are.
It is Hump Day. And that means it is Ask Uncle Randy Day. So if you have a question for Uncle Randy or Uncle Carey or Aunt Brooke, we'd love to have you join us on the text line 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. You need to watch us on the YouTube. We're at 101 ESPN STL, and you can see all of us. And you can see Carey wearing the white shirt today. I'm wearing a 101 ESPN golf shirt.
I would put
wearing
my
a gray
Jordans up
shirt.
that Rock said he's never seen in this color. I don't know why that is.
Brooke is wearing gray to reflect the outside. By the way, there might be strong storms, but again, there might not because they said strong storms yesterday. I waited for the strong storms, didn't get out on a bike ride until the evening, and I never saw him. And then Matthew Rocchio is here to read your Uncle Randy texts next on 101 ESPN.
question for Uncle Randy? Let him dive into his infinite well filled with wisdom to find you answers. Text 314-399-9646. It's Ask Uncle Randy on 101 ESPN.
I've been around, you know.
It is time for Ask Uncle Randy here on 101 ESPN. And sometimes people have the same questions, the same situations that they're dealing with in life, and we understand that. And if you do send in a text that is
Damn it.
to another text, we'll give you both the same answer.
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
That was God. You had to drive. You had to take a little bit of a turn there, but
called the setup.
I'm glad you did. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
Fantastic one, dear Uncle Randy. I'm planning a beach vacation.
Is this great?
Okay, let's go.
Dear Uncle Randy, I'm planning a beach vacation for me and my family. Way to brag on us. Would it be better financially to fly and just get a rental while I'm down there, or drive myself?
There's nothing like time. You are better off flying. So we're talking Destin here?
He just says beach.
Okay, let's
but he's
just
a St.
assume
Louis
Destin.
guy, so I'm assuming
Destin, 10 hours, right? You know what?
Is
Destin,
it 10 hours?
Yeah, like 10 or 12, right?
Yeah.
So, family, though, are you... If you're driving yourself and the rest of the family is flying, drive.
if we're all in this car together.
Okay. But here's the thing. Yes. No, I think having your own car down there and having that bonding time with the family is kind of valuable. So let's go with drive.
Well, driving there is normally not bad. It's the drive back, especially after, a long, I don't know how long you plan on being down there. If it's 3 days, if it's a week, you're going to be fatigued on your way home.
And here's the thing. If we're talking like Jupiter, that's a different animal altogether, right?
Yeah.
So, but Destin, if it's 10 hours or less, drive, Gulf Shores, whatever. But if it's more than 10 hours, fly.
I think you mentioned bonding experience. I remember driving to Destin as a wee little girl, and some of my favorite memories is my dad printing out the MapQuest and then getting lost inevitably, and then getting angry, and that's great bonding experience.
That's his dad.
I remember it specifically. It was great. My mom and I would be blasting Shania Twain, and my dad get distracted, try to follow the MapQuest, directions that he printed out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
Kids these days will never know.
No.
Printing out 4 or 5 pages of paper.
The little triptych where you just keep flipping.
You miss the paper, and then you're like, wait a minute.
You know what? Next page.
In my 20s, drove down to St. Petersburg when the Cardinals trained down there. Have no idea how I got there or home. Really don't. It's unbelievable.
You
that I
had to
did.
pay attention to signs. Like you had to look at
You were
the exit
focused.
sign. Yeah, you were on the road, eyes up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who, when they drive down to Florida, by the way, stops at a nut place in Georgia? I do. There's so many nut places in Georgia, either cashews or peanuts. All right.
This is one of the best ones we've ever gotten.
Okay, good.
Dear Uncle Randy, I've essentially blamed my girlfriend for losing my passport during our most recent move.
Reasonable.
It's been months now, and from time to time it gets brought up, and I still insisted it was her. I just found it in my work desk. How do I navigate these waters from here?
No,
You
do
go
not.
get a new passport.
Yeah.
The hell you talking about?
Yep, you do.
The hell you think this
Yep,
is?
yep.
You
Okay.
stand firm.
Yes, you do. You do. You're talking to a guy who has emptied out trash cans looking for lost keys. Okay? And then all of a sudden, I wore a suit yesterday. And they're in the suit pocket. You never, it's one of the pillars here. The number 2 pillar of the show is deflect blame at all costs.
There you go.
So,
Get you a
yes.
fall guy.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say this. This is a bad idea. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you plant it in an area where it looks like maybe she misplaced.
That's not bad. No, that's not bad either. That's not
I'm
bad
not
either.
saying I haven't haven't done this to my fiance whatsoever. I haven't done this to my fiance whatsoever.
I'm proud of you, but at least you have the idea planted firmly in your brain now. But yeah, no, you do not give her the satisfaction.
But if you plant it where it makes it seem like
exactly that she might have put it there.
You get what I'm saying? That's some big brain stuff right there.
This is very important.
I'm just going to get a new passport.
You don't give. You do. That's a great play. That's a great play.
It's such a hassle in itself. It's easier to plan.
Whatever.
Never give her the satisfaction.
You didn't went this far. You've blamed her for months.
Big time.
Oh, no.
Oh, this has been like and it will be an ongoing argument. I'm sorry.
You know what?
So
the responsible thing would be to just say, honey, you know what? I made a mistake. I apologize.
Nope.
I
like both.
That's the responsible thing.
But that's not what you're doing.
I got to put that out there.
But that's not what you're going to do.
But yeah, we're not responsible in the opening drive. Brooke, I love your idea, and CD, I love your idea. I think they're both very strong.
Plan it.
Brooke, I was like, okay, Randy and Carey taking the logical, kind of toxic, but not really negative way here of just deny. But then Brooke comes in here and just, no, make it as toxic as possible.
It's not toxic. It's
Plant
just,
it on her.
it's avoiding further arguments.
Physical gaslighting.
What are we saying over on the, let's check out.
Dear Uncle Randy, the guys are struggling today. Dear Uncle Randy, my girlfriend is currently not working and is waiting for school to start back up, so she is home a lot. She is severely lacking on house chores. How do I kindly tell her she needs to do more?
Is severely lacking on house chores.
Carey, do you also think this is something that should be said as quickly as possible?
I would.
Honestly, you think, right? Yeah.
You should. Here's the play.
You have to bring it up.
And here's the thing. Okay, like, babe, I'm going to take the trash out. Can you put those dishes in the dishwasher? Or, babe, I'm going to go out and mow the lawn, if you have that, if that's one of the places. Can you do me a favor and grab this laundry and throw it in the washer? What you do is you start. It's the old Tony La Russa punch and pop. You start by saying, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Can you please do this? Mm-hmm. And you put the onus on her to actually do some of the chores in the house.
We're both living here.
Severely lacking.
We're both living here.
Yeah, so 50-50. And so if you ask, and then what do we get?
No, just continue.
Okay.
This is about the passport. This is brilliant.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, anyway, that's the way I would do it. Because you're doing chores anyway. So you request on the heels of saying, I'm doing this chore. Will you do this chore for me?
Yeah. Severely lacking. That sounds kind of serious.
It sounds like it's a one-way street.
I do
like
understand.
He's going to work every day.
Yeah, I understand that would be frustrating, is that you come home and things are messy, or somebody hasn't moved around. Somebody said the girlfriend planted the passport at his work.
Oh, she did it. She's got a big brain.
Chess, not checkers.
Yes.
That's even better.
Her and I would get along just fine.
I didn't think these
she did that.
I didn't think these could get better, but God, your textures are delivering today. Dear Uncle Randy, while shopping for some camping gear with my girlfriend, we walked by some exercise bikes. My girlfriend gushed over a very expensive model that she says she would love. Future birthday or Christmas gift, or is this a trap?
No, this is a future birthday or Christmas gift.
Yeah.
If she gushed over it and you don't have one in the house, then that is a cool thing to have. Whether it's a Peloton, I know some people like Pelotons, and especially CD. Getting back into the Peloton thing. I'm an outdoor bike guy. Love it. And I've gotten so many bicycles for birthdays. I remember my first one when I was like 12. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, even now, exercise equipment for Christmas or birthdays is great.
And then you can use it too. I mean, you can partake in it.
And it's not a trap because she talked about how much she liked it.
Exactly. I think that's maybe what he was worried about, is that it would be a trap where it's like, oh, I got my girlfriend some workout equipment, but I'm not telling her that she needs to work out or anything. She opened the door for that, so I think that that's what she wants.
Vacuum cleaner? No. Exercise equipment? Okay.
Unless it's a nice Dyson that she says she wants.
Okay. She says she wants
microwave.
Microwave works.
But only for a proposal.
You did. Yeah. That's what he...
Only for a proposal.
You never knew that, Brooke?
No.
Yeah, that's how Randy proposed.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Jewelry's overrated.
With a microwave. He proposed with
beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're on camera.
Yeah. Don't go see my reaction on YouTube.
It was when microwaves were new and not everybody had one. And it wasn't just a standard thing in the house.
There you go.
Okay.
It was
There.
like a virtual reality simulator.
That's where you go in 2023.
Okay, fair enough. Gio Guarani, your cousin CD. I coach youth baseball and recently had tryouts where I had to tell friends their sons didn't make it, and now they're mad at me. How do I handle this?
Carey.
Yeah, man, hey, brother, I love you. If you don't like it, tell your son play better. It is what it is. It's tryouts for a reason. That means you get rewarded when you are good enough, and you teach your son, and we will have a conversation about hard work, about trying to get better, about the things that need to be worked on, because in life you're not going to just get things most times because your father's friend works for a company. Maybe you could, but that's a little bit of nepotism. So
If I'm not mistaken, the greatest basketball player of all time didn't wind up making a sophomore high school basketball
there you
team,
go.
right?
He learned from it, didn't he?
He went out and got better and then got best.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, his hashtag was be best.
Yeah,
There you
that was
go.
his.
Maybe not his.
Okay, not his. I thought that was someone else.
Come on, Matthew. Let's get one more. Matthew's saying let's go to a break, and I'm saying okay,
All right, here we go.
Mess up here.
I like all these. Dear Uncle Randy, I took my fiance to Pigeon Forge for her birthday last weekend. We didn't do anything yesterday on her actual birthday. How do I tell her that I don't give a damn that her in-laws are mad that we didn't do anything yesterday with them?
This is not good. I would suggest.
Also, way too many details, buddy.
I would suggest that this weekend you conduct a birthday celebration for her family. I think that's only the right thing to do. I think, by the way, you should have done something yesterday on her birthday.
But if you did something
If you did something
on the
previous,
weekend,
but you gotta
that
do-
was the actual birthday, meaning presents, spending time, maybe movies, concert, dinner, whatever you did, you actually, other than happy
Carey.
birthday, dear,
Carey.
I hope you have a great one. I'm asking.
Carey, well, let me put it this way. As the male in a relationship, there is a little quid pro quo here.
We've talked about this
Right?
in the past.
So a cake or something.
Something.
Flowers,
You got to get something for something.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. I got it. I get it. Okay. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Yeah, okay. So every birthday, and you know what, guys? I understand that half birthdays are really valuable too.
What?
So yeah, half birthdays. Play that
I don't
card.
think anybody does that.
Oh,
But
play
just
that card.
showing that you care. Is that what
Play
you're
that
saying?
card,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing. Birthdays are awesome. Show people you love
half
them.
birthdays?
Show people you love them with half birthdays.
Is this guy saying they didn't do anything?
They didn't
for
do
her
anything for the birthday, but they did. They went to Pigeon Forge and had a great time for her birthday, but
you go.
didn't do anything actually on the birthday. But I would say for the in-laws, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, do something, have a little barbecue, go out to take the in-laws out to dinner for the birthday.
there's still plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Brooke's still doing Brookapalooza.
I'm trying to figure out the in-laws portion of it.
Brookapalooza.
Well, they want to
Yeah, that
celebrate
was-
their
that was
daughter's
like-
birthday.
Well, take her out.
Well, that's the thing.
I guess they're with them in Pigeon
Okay.
Forge is what I'm gathering.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe the in-laws just expected him to have something planned
look.
because they weren't in on the Pigeon Forge thing. They want to celebrate her birthday, and so they're mad
Maybe.
that he didn't have the infrastructure there for them to do so. And he's like, "Why do I have to plan something for your birthday? I did that."
Okay.
Which I'm kind of on his side there.
Hey,
you just-
Pigeon Forge, lots
Nope.
of mini golf.
Hey,
there you go.
it's-
Go see the Titanic.
The birthday
The Titanic
ends.
is there.
The birthday.
There's so much
And Brooke, I think you'll join me here in saying this. Your birthday isn't over until you say it is, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
There we go. Coming up, we've got trade rumors from around Major League Baseball. Where are the Cardinals headed with trade rumors? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Pigeon Forge has a
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals yesterday win game number 2 against the Miami Marlins, this time in walk-off fashion in the 10th inning behind a Nolan Arenado 3-run shot. They'll be back in action today. It's an early game, 1:15 p.m. against the Marlins. It'll be Sandy Alcantara, the former Cardinal, 3-8 on the season with a 4.64 ERA. He faces off against Dakota Hudson. Dakota Hudson is 1-0 on the season, and this will be his first start of the year after starting 26 games last season. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Live on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
All right, time to take a look at some trade rumors for you. And Mark Feinstein is always all over it at MLB.com. And one of the things that Feinstein says is that the Orioles need relief pitching. And he says Baltimore might seek rotation help as well. But Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, and Kyle Gibson have all been pitching well. And the Orioles are hopeful that Grayson Rodriguez can contribute this season. Relievers Felix Bautista and Yenier Cano are both all-stars. But the Orioles could use another solid arm or two to help bridge the gap from the starters to that 1-2 back-end punch. He says, Mark Feinstein, that the Orioles' best fit in getting a reliever would be Jordan Hicks.
No.
Uh-oh.
This is a franchise, the Orioles, that have 9 of the top 100 prospects in baseball. Many of them, like Grayson Rodriguez, are close to Major League ready or are already in the majors. If I am the Cardinals, I am looking at a situation like that, where if I can get a top-level pitching prospect, and I don't know if Jordan Hicks is going to be back, and that's key, I would make that move. But if you're the Cardinals, to be responsible, you need to approach Jordan Hicks' representative and say, what'll it take to keep you here for 3 years?
Yes, of course. I think that you have to find a way. You're going to try to keep Jordan Hicks, some of the other guys listed as well. Why do you think specifically they're targeting Jordan Hicks out of some of the other relievers that are possibly available?
3 words, 104.
Yeah.
That matters. That plays.
Yeah.
You throw that hard, that plays, which is why the St. Louis Cardinals would be foolish to allow him.
I mean,
to
there's
do that.
Chris Stratton that's available. Are they wanting a closer specifically? Is
No,
that
they're
the
actually
fit?
looking at a bridge guy.
Okay.
And if you could get a bridge guy for a couple of months, if you're the Orioles, you go out and
Chris
get that
Stratton?
one. Yeah, I think you want somebody a little more dominant than that for postseason play. Now, here's another one that Feinstein has. Red Sox starting pitching. Boston's rotation has been battered by injuries, leaving James Paxton, Bram Bello, and Cutter Crawford as its only healthy starters. Chris Sale, Tanner Houck, and Garrett Whitlock could return at some point, though timetables are iffy. Potential fit, Jordan Montgomery for the Red Sox, who used to pitch, obviously, for the Yankees.
What will we be getting in return?
That is a good question because, again, if the Red Sox had close to Major League ready pitching available, you would think that they would utilize it in their pursuit of making the playoffs this year. So my guess is that player, they aren't going to trade Marcelo Mayer, their hotshot shortstop prospect. My guess would be that the Cardinals would get more of a mid-level prospect from Boston in exchange for Jordan Montgomery. I think the market for Jordan Montgomery will be pretty robust.
What do you guys think the likelihood is of, okay, you trade away Jordan Montgomery or even Jack Flaherty? What's the likelihood for both guys, you think, of being able to possibly still get them back in free agency?
0.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think if and when they do leave, I don't think they're coming back here.
What about Hicks? Same situation.
I don't think
Hicks.
Jordan Hicks should leave, but I think if he goes free agent, he's going to be looking to get paid a massive amount of money going forward. And then now you're looking at 3 pitchers that you would be trying to bring back.
Yeah.
2 starters, 1 closer, where I don't see the Cardinals spending that much money on
I
all 3
agree.
of
I think
those
it'd behoove the Cardinals to pursue those guys that they have. It's kind of like trying to keep your own guys in college football or basketball, trying to recruit your own players. I think the Cardinals need to recruit their own guys at the moment. Let me give you one more here. Guardians need an impact bat. And Feinstein writes, Cleveland ranks 27th in the majors in runs scored and 26th in OPS, numbers that underscore the need for another big bat, specifically in the outfield. The Guardians could opt to deal Ahmed Rosario rather than giving up young, controllable talent. Best fit for the Guardians, according to Mark Feinstein, Tyler O'Neill.
Really?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
If you could get something for Tyler O'Neill, would you be all over it?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll see him Thursday, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he doesn't have he just doesn't have, there's no room for him anymore here. He had an opportunity. Obviously, he started the season off as the opening day center fielder and got injured, has been often injured. And so there's really no room for him. You got Jordan Walker. You got Lars Nootbaar. You got Dylan Carlson, maybe not. You got plenty of guys
Alec
out there.
Burleson as an option.
Yeah.
I mean, he's around, is what I'm saying.
And then you just drafted an outfielder in the first round.
Right.
So eventually he's going to be up here and performing. So
now, these are all rumors. Can I give you one that's no chance?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Feinstein writes, Mariners, second baseman. Seattle ranks in the lower half of the league in runs scored, home runs, and OPS. So adding a bat figures to be GM Jerry DiPoto's focus this month. Second base would be a good place to start because Colton Wong has been a huge disappointment in his first season with the Mariners. Seattle has young pitching to trade, so perhaps a deal with the Cardinals to land both an infielder and an outfielder would make sense. Potential fit, Brendan Donovan.
No,
he's not going anywhere.
Brendan's not. He's not going anywhere, and that's what I was saying is that his play recently, if anything, makes it more of a case of why you need to keep him. He's a piece that you have for 2024 and moving on for the Cardinals, and at the same time, you feel a little bit better at least about moving on from some of the other position players because of Brendan Donovan's ability at the plate and with whatever position you put him in.
I think Brendan Donovan is available. I think Dylan Carlson, obviously Tyler O'Neill. You got a few guys because of the
value. Is that
and
what you're
the
saying?
value, and you have more people at those positions. You got enough middle infielders, and you believe Mason Wynn is on his way here soon. If you don't get trade Paul DeYoung, you got 4 guys still that can play that spot. So I don't know that he's going to be his value is extremely high, especially talking about Brendan Donovan because of how he's played the last 10, 15, 20 games. He's done an outstanding job.
Much like Nolan Gorman, though, if I'm going to trade Brendan Donovan, I need a front of the rotation starter. Like I said, I would trade Gorman in a deal for Dylan Cease. I would have to get George Kirby, and I'll only go 1 for 1. And it would take Kirby from the Mariners for me to trade them Brendan Donovan.
Yes, it would have to be something that makes sense, that completely fills that void of what you're going to be looking for as you are in this kind of gray area with Jordan Montgomery and Jack Flaherty and what that's going to look like moving forward for the Cardinals, because you still have to have a number 1 guy in your starting rotation moving forward. Another thing that I found interesting, speaking of trade rumors and stuff, have you guys been following with the Reds? The Reds obviously need starting pitching. They're in a very similar situation, and it seems like a lot of the trade rumors that we're following with the Cardinals, the Reds are as well. They're being attached in talks with the White Sox. What do you think that that's going to look like moving forward? Because the Reds really, if they want to continue to make this push, especially to win the division or at least get back to the top of the division, they need starting pitching.
This is one of those situations where the Cardinals and Reds are completely different because the Reds are desperate. We hate to say this, but the Cardinals make the playoffs so much that they aren't desperate. But the Reds, they haven't made the playoffs since 12? Except for maybe the COVID year. But they haven't been legit since 2012. It's been more than a decade since they've been legit. And last year you had the owner's son saying, well, where else are you going to go? Right?
Yes,
on opening day. So you need to reconnect with your fans. So I would.
And their fans have showed up so much to all these different, because of the way they're playing. You have Ellie De La Cruz and his playing. Yeah. It feels like you have to add something if you're the Reds.
And they have prospects. So if I were the Reds, I would be inclined, and I still can't figure out how they're good. Go look at the Reds statistics. Figure out for me how they're good. But I would try to take a shot because you only get this Ellie De La Cruz first year excitement one time.
All right, good. They've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, they have.
They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're what'd you say, kind of scuffling.
Yeah, right.
But they are starting pitching. Brooke, you talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They're starting pitching in the ERA in the first inning. How poorly they have been performing. They are looking for that as well. You got 2 teams in the division, both looking for starting pitching, and it may come down to that. To see who's going to be able to push for that playoff spot.
And the cool thing is that the Cardinals have those 2 starters. It's going to be a real seller's market for Flaherty and Montgomery.
Do you think that there's any chance that the Cardinals just continue to win at the rate that they are, and the front office says, you know what, we know we're going to lose these guys in free agency, but we have an opportunity now because now we're 3 games out of first place in the division. The hell with next year. Obviously, we got to go find free agents and find guys in the offseason anyways to be starters. Do you think there's a chance that they do not trade Jordan Montgomery and Jack Flaherty and just ride it out and try to get a championship?
No,
again, you have to be within, I believe, less than 5 games.
I got a great sense of self-awareness from Mo the other day. That this team, and I've told you guys, and this is the way I feel, don't believe anything you see from this club because what you're seeing here is kind of a mirage. Not that they're bad players, but when there's no pressure, teams are different. And especially for a team like Miami, which is starting to feel a little bit of heat for the first time, I don't think this Cardinal team can play in September. I don't think they're good enough to be a September team, a good September team.
And if there's one thing I'm going to believe with what Mo Zaylock said recently, one thing that I will agree with him with is that they are looking ahead to 2024. I think you have to think about that because then it looks absolutely silly. And imagine how frustrated Nolan Arenado is going to be even more so if you don't actually continue to build around this core for next season.
I think he'll be more frustrated if you have a chance here this season and you trade away those 2 guys, meaning you are well within reach of the Milwaukee Brewers. You've passed up the Cubs, you've passed up the Reds, and you're well within reach of reaching that top seed in the division, and you just say, okay, we're going to punt at this point. That to me would be more frustrating than not building for the future of next year.
They're 10 games out. So
they are.
Let's just see.
Well, we talked about it. They got the Cubs coming up. They're three games behind them. They will be in 3rd by this time next week. Then, we're just rolling.
I love Thank you. Yeah. We got to take it or leave it coming up. So all you need to do, if you'd like to participate, is get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line. And that is 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! Yes. Take it or leave it next on 101 ESPN. Hey, I want you to have a stunning lunch today at the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton, Missouri. All you need to do is head on over to the soccer park and then just follow Rudder Road over to the Fenton Bar and Grill. Little road construction going on, but it's really easy to get there. You will love the people. Alicia will be behind the bar today. You'll say hi to Kelly and Colleen and Megan and the whole crew, and they're so friendly. And the food at the Fenton Bar and Grill is absolutely astonishing. Think about that Italian ham sandwich, which is delicious. Garlic, buttered hoagie bun. It's topped with ham, Italian cheese blend, baked and served open-faced. It is absolutely magnificent, and you will love that ham sandwich at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Don't forget to try those trash swings. When you walk in the door, you're going to smell those trash swings being prepared. They're the best in town, and their signature golden sauce, award-winning, is fantastic. And if you want to go with ranch, heck, we are in St. Louis, they'll have plenty of ranch for you as well. A spectacular menu and a tantalizing flavor when you get your food at the Fenton Bar and Grill. I love it. You'll have just a fantastic time there, too. It's the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. Go to FentonBarandGrill.com to learn more. Tell them Randy sent you.
it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your take it or leave it.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
With Brooke Grimsley and Carey Davis and Matthew Rocchio, I'm Randy Karraker. Time for Take It or Leave It here on 101 ESPN. And guys, we were just talking about this during the break, and I believe we had a texter that checked in as well. Cincinnati Reds attendance this year is up 26%, and they have had 8 sellouts this year. Take it or leave it, that great Cincinnati fan base has been reawakened by one guy, Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, I would go.
Take it.
I would go for that.
Hey, you got a guy that can run that fast, hit the ball that hard and that far, and play defense like he does. Yeah,
he's amazing.
Exciting, and just his speed, his athletic ability. That's something I would love to see in person, and it makes sense for Reds fans going from last season. What was it, around like 9,000? Maybe it was like an average for the game, and then you have an uptick. It's nowhere near Busch Stadium numbers, of course, but when you're actually putting a product out on the field that's worth going out there and seeing, it makes sense why people are going to show up to that.
Yep.
It's kind of like how you're already seeing Jordan Walker jerseys. I mean, I remember before the season started, I was already seeing young kids walking around with Walker jerseys because having a young athlete like that that's so exciting gets everybody else excited.
It is. Yep. So Draymond Green was on the Pat Bev podcast talking about his punch and saying, you don't just punch people for no reason. One word isn't going to cause me to punch. It's not going to trigger me to punch one of my teammates, which led Anthony Poole, Jordan Poole's father, to chime in, basically saying that, calling Draymond some names and saying that he didn't apologize to me and my wife, and, he can meet me anytime he wants. Take it or leave it. If Anthony Poole's son had that much vigor, we wouldn't even be in this position.
I'll take that, yeah.
You might want to defend yourself. Put your dukes up, brother. Don't. When somebody, here's a fair warning. When someone starts walking towards you and you already are having a confrontation, he's not coming to talk. He's coming to punch. Put your hands up or punch back.
Yeah, great teammate.
If you don't get knocked out, you can't punch back if you're knocked out.
Take it or leave it. I don't know if you guys have seen. We're excited to see what's going to happen with Hard Knocks and the Jets and all that. But according to Adam Schefter, there's a report out right now that the Jets don't believe that it's going to be humane to show players being released. But here's the thing. Okay, wait 1 second. Oh. Take it or leave it, they should show that. And this is going to be my argument. I understand that it's a very emotional and personal thing, but sometimes I think people really forget that these are human beings, that they have emotions, that it's okay to show emotions. And I think that sometimes getting that understanding out there of what this is for a person, that they are a real human being and this is what it's like to experience this, could actually benefit the players in some ways.
I'm leaving it because I think you can get that same point across, showing the guy walking into the room, showing him no longer there. I mean, he got cut. I don't think you necessarily have to have cameras in the room showing the conversation, showing guys' emotions, because that, for me, I told you, I've never watched an entire season of Hard Knocks because I cannot.
It's painful.
I cannot watch people getting cut. This is... I mean,
PTSD?
Yeah. This is something you've done. Some people have been playing football since they were 5, 6, 7 years old, and now you're 22 years old, and you've been playing this thing. You've been doing this one thing your entire life. You finally get to the point where you dreamed about, and then it's cut in an instance, and you don't know if you're ever going to be able to do that thing that you loved again in life. And that is a real moment. That is a hard thing to process for a young player, for an older player. It doesn't matter who you are. That is something that when you are no longer doing that, it takes time to process that and get over that. And to have that moment showed in real time, I don't think that's good.
All right, to your texts, the text line open, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo! Matthew, what do we got?
Take it or leave it. The Cardinals need a theme song for this second half run. The Heat Is On was perfect. We need one just as good.
I'll take it. Got to come up with a song.
What would that song be?
I don't know.
Okay.
When's the last time Nelly came out with something new? Maybe he needs to come up with something new.
A minute? Question.
Been a while.
Remember when he did the country music crossover?
Yeah.
With
Tim
Yeah.
Florida Georgia Line, right?
No.
Tim McGraw.
It was Tim
Tim
McGraw.
McGraw.
Well, he did Florida Georgia Line too.
Oh, did he do a Florida Georgia
He did a
Line?
song with
I
him.
didn't know that.
That was like
Yeah.
back, is that like 2015?
Yeah, about
But
that.
Tim McGraw, the one with Tim McGraw was iconic.
Okay.
Over and over. Is that
He's done a lot of
Speaking of that,
collaborations.
shout out to Sterling K. Brown, who was the match ball presenter at City on Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he had a Band-Aid. He walked out with a
nice.
Band-Aid over
Good.
his eye, and I was like, man, that's to come up to this game is one thing. To put the Band-Aid on is another thing. Then to walk over to the supporter section and wave a flag around as fans
That's
cheer.
pretty cool.
Sterling K. Brown is the real St. Louis, and I love him for that. Take it or leave it, the St. Louis Blues have a better offseason than the Cardinals have a trade deadline.
Better off season.
Leave it.
I'm going to
Okay.
leave. Well,
because
it
we're talking,
depends.
we're pretty much essentially done with
Blues
the
are
Blues
done,
off season.
yeah.
I mean,
So
there's
is
not
Kevin
much.
Hayes.
There's not any cap space.
Right.
Leave.
Yeah, Kevin Hayes, Sean McEachern, bringing Sonny back. Okay, so those are your three. I'm going to leave it too.
I'm going to leave it. I think that there will be some interesting moves made.
I do. It'll be fun. August 1st is the trade deadline.
Somebody says, take it or leave it, Paradise City for the song.
I'll take it. Can we play it?
Quick. No.
Okay.
I don't know that one.
I think maybe if I heard it.
How does it go?
Take me down to the Paradise City. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, let's sing it. Okay, we just played it.
Take it or leave it. Randy's going to be the loudest cheering fan for tonight's MLS All-Star game when they take on Kroenke's Arsenal.
Take it.
Yeah.
How happy would you be if Tim Parker would score a goal against Arsenal
I'll give
today?
him a hug.
Randy, we don't want to forget that we do have a tattoo bet on the line if the Cardinals were to win
If
the
the
World
Cardinals
Series.
win the World
Okay,
Series
just making
this
sure.
year.
So
Nelly released a whole country album last year?
last year? I know,
What?
it was
There
last
we
year.
go. Let's do it. There's our song right there. We'll find one.
Take it or leave it. The Cardinals go 9-3 the rest of the month and become buyers at the deadline.
Take it.
Carey, that would be that'd be 13-5. Is that good enough for you?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. The way they're going now, winning every game is what I need to see.
Hold on. Let me just check.
They already
You win
lost
like,
one.
you
Let
win
me
like
just check.
14 straight
Yeah,
to hit your
pretty much.
18 out of 20.
Pretty much.
I am going to the Cardinals 40-man roster, and I'm searching, scrolling, looking for a number 31, and I don't see a number 31 among the Cardinals. Why would they have left 31 open? Maybe for the same reason they left 28 open before they acquired Nolan Arenado? Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home.
Well, we'll see.
Somebody says, take it or leave. The Cardinals need a home run dugout celebration item because every other team does.
No, they have one.
The burger phone?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Nah.
What are
They
you
need
gonna put in
something
there?
after the home run. Like the
Okay.
burger phone is pre-home
Yeah.
run. You need something like most teams have a line that they go down and they got a hat on and they got something on.
It looks really fun.
You got to find something St. Louis. Maybe an Emo's box. Maybe you hand them an Emo's box and you open it up.
How about
I
a
don't know.
Toasted Rav hat?
Toasted Rav. Something that represents St. Louis.
Or there's an arch and they go underneath it.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Something. They got to find some creativity in that.
I think they've reached the point of stupidity with those things.
I love it because
think
it
they're
keeps you
fun.
engaged. It keeps you're excited about your teammate doing something awesome.
Seattle's looking for a second baseman. They're also looking for outfield help. Take it or leave it. You get 2-1 with Tommy Edman.
He can't play both positions at the same time, though. It's the only problem.
How would Wonger feel about being replaced by Edmund twice?
Oh, yeah. That'd be a painful thing.
I don't think they're worried about Colton's feelings at this point.
I don't think
They're
are
looking
either.
for. They're in the market and said they're looking for. Yeah,
You got to hit 200 before you can have feelings.
Here's the thing. You know when you're about
gotta
to be
hit
replaced too. you know. You're like, I'm kind of stinking it up right now. It might be trade rumors, huh? Okay, I can respect it.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
We appreciate your texts. And coming up next year on 101 ESPN, today's Fresh Take. What's the mindset of players as we approach the deadline? That's coming your way on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you are in the market to sell your home, I've got the person for you to call. Her name is Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Her number is 314-325-6888. And if you want me to recommend a great restaurant, it's easy. If you ask me to recommend a great real estate agent, that's also really easy because Gloria Liu has the buyers and she has upfront written guarantees and her name is her promise. If she can't sell your home at your price and in your time frame, then she'll buy it. And that's easy for her because she already has the buyers. Gloria is able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because she already has an incredible database of thousands of ready buyers over 20 years long. They want to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. That's how Gloria gets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, which means more money in your pocket. Gloria sells for more and sells faster when compared to your average agent. She's not only your average agent, though. She's St. Louis local real estate authority. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. National Hot Dog Day. It's 8:03. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers and officially licensed for life.
How long ago did they send out the message that we would have hot dogs?
Probably a couple weeks ago, Carey.
Does that happen often around here?
Every time.
Okay.
Okay.
Every time we have a big event, yeah.
Rock, do you have anything to say about that? Rock.
I love Rock.
National Hot Dog Day is a big event.
The reason why
I love Hubbard because National Hot Dog Day is a big event.
No, that's not what you want to talk about.
Anything.
Yeah.
He could be wrong. He could be right, but he has a point, and he's going to get his point across no matter if you like it or not. And for that,
kettle.
No. When I'm wrong, I just, hey, you know what? I was wrong.
Rock, this is a tad bit different because you just told Randy, how long have you been here?
So I helped build the station. I came here, Brooke, in the fall of 2008.
Okay.
And I helped build the station.
So for a while.
We went on the air on January 1st of 2009.
Okay. And so you might know how the emails go when it comes to food. And then Rock over here said, no, that's not what happens.
So anyway, Steve's Hot Dogs is bringing hot dogs by Hubbard Radio today, and we're excited about it. Thanks to our management for celebrating National Hot Dog Day and for Steve's Hot Dogs. dogs. And, oh, by the way, we should note that in addition to it being National Hot Dog Day, hopefully somebody's bringing in daiquiris because it's National Daiquiri Day, too.
Really?
It is. So hopefully that will be the combo that makes all of us on the radio better today.
I have a question. How did they decide, like, what do you need to pass in order for something to be like a national something day?
Apply for it. Just
Everything
apply for it.
has.
Can you just claim it and then it just goes out that way?
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder how the Cardinal young players, for people like Brendan Donovan, who hears his name in trade rumors, or Nolan Gorman, it's one thing, and let's just throw people like Arenado and Goldie out of this. They have no trade clauses. They've both been traded before, and they know they aren't being traded because all they have to do is say, I don't want to be traded, and they aren't traded. So they don't have to worry about the emotion of having their names brought up in trade talks. But it is difficult for young people like Dylan Carlson or Nolan Gorman or Brendan Donovan who've never been through the process and don't know what the heck's going on to deal with it. Last year, right before the deadline, Dylan Carlson and Nolan Gorman were told that they weren't going to be traded. My guess would be right now that they have not been told whether or not they're being traded.
Well, and Dylan Carlson mentioned that was a
couple days ago.
A couple days ago. Dylan Carlson mentioned, because he was asked, you were able to have that conversation with the Cardinals and John Mozeliak when in regards to the Juan Soto trade. This time, is there any dialogue? And he said, so far there hasn't been any dialogue. And you could tell just based off of the article that John Ditton wrote and some others as well, because the TV cameras weren't around during that conversation with Dylan Carlson, that it was something that was weighing on him heavily. But to his credit, it seems like he's actually using that as motivation out there for his performance. If you even look at yesterday, he had 2 great catches in center field and a great performance also on Monday at the plate. That's what you just kind of have to do. You have to compartmentalize. There we go.
I would say, first of all, I think we've talked about this. Dylan Carlson is their best center fielder. I don't know. I mean, Tommy Edman is a close second, but he doesn't have the arm strength to play that position at a high level, in my opinion, as well as Dylan Carlson does. The hardest part about being a professional athlete is not knowing what's next.
Yeah.
We talked about it with Hard Knocks, not knowing if you're going to have another job once you're cut. When you're being talked about in trade rumors, it's so much more than just the sport itself. It's so much more than just baseball. If you have a family, do I leave my wife and kids in the city that was just playing in and move to the new city? Do I bring my family with me? Where are we going to live? Where are my kids going to go to school? It's the summertime, so baseball is a little bit easier in terms of that transition. You're not moving in the middle of the season during a school year, but it's still a lot of moving parts for people when you're trying to decide or figure out where you're going to be next. And that can weigh on you. We talk about a lot. I talk a lot about the mental aspect of the game because that is more important than your physical talent. You guys have talent for days. There are so many guys that are so talented, but mentally they can't get over certain humps and they don't show that talent. When you are worried about what's next in your personal life, it's oftentimes hard to be the best person you can be on the field because there are so many things going on that you're worrying about and you're unable to compartmentalize for that 2.5, 3 hours and just dial it in because, hell, where am I going to stay? I got to pay 2 mortgages now. It's so many life things that take place that it can be hard and it can weigh on a player.
I would hope that the veteran Cardinal players, Waino, who will join us, by the way, at 9:30 today, and Nolan Arenado, and Paul Goldschmidt, Wilson Contreras, would go to the young players like Dylan Carlson, and Arenado and Carlson are tight, and say, look, if you hear your name, just remember, if you get dealt, somebody really wants you. Yeah. That's the way that you have to look at it.
And then it's a business.
Right.
And that's what you've heard Nolan, even when he was just talking, remember during the All-Star break, talking about what he thinks about trades. The way that he addressed it, I think, is I hope something that him and Paul Goldschmidt talk about with the younger players is at the end of the day, this is a business. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's more about, well, in some ways, it could be a little personal.
Right.
We have seen where it can be personal, but for the most part, these are business decisions, and it's a good thing that people are wanting you. And I do understand, though, how much that just weighs on a player, especially when you're in the position the Cardinals are in right now, where there's so many trade rumors. Oh, and by the way, they're probably on social media, the young Cardinals players, and they see everything. They get tagged and everything. They're fully aware of where their name is being, moved around.
And if you're a young player like Dylan Carlson, and you feel like you haven't been given a consistent opportunity, which he hasn't, all you need to do is look at the American League All-Star team, right? And say, well, you know what? That Randy Arozarena, that could be me.
Didn't have a chance.
Adolis Garcia,
Didn't have a chance.
give him an opportunity. Yeah. That could be me. I think that's the way, if I were a young Cardinal player, that I would look at it. And nobody wants to leave their first franchise. It broke Harrison Bader's heart to get traded from the Cardinals. But sometimes it does wind up being the best thing for you.
Yeah, it can be. But like you said, Brooke, you're looking at social media. You're getting calls from your mother, father, your aunts and uncles. What's going on every day? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not withholding state secrets here. I don't know. And so, yeah, it's a frustrating time for these young men when their name is potentially being listed as possible trade pieces because you just don't know. And the fact that he and they are still able to perform at that level really should be a testament to their character and how well they're going to be if they end up somewhere else at their next stop.
And I have to believe that there is a method to the madness with a guy like Jordan Montgomery specifically, who's a Scott Boras client. And if you get traded at the deadline, the team that acquires you cannot present a qualifying offer. So you are a true unrestricted free agent. There is no compensation for the team that signs you having to give up. The Cardinals had to give up a second-round pick to sign Wilson Contreras because he got a QO, qualifying offer. If you get traded, you can't get a qualifying offer. So that's one of the things that I'm sure that Boras and Montgomery, and maybe even Jack Flaherty and his representatives are looking at, is that they're going to become free agents, and they want to be free agents. So the best thing for them might be to spend 2 months with, or 3 if you get to play October, with another franchise. That is Carey. That is Brooke. I am Randy. And that's today's Fresh Take here on 101 ESPN. Coming up at last week's MLB draft, CBC's Nazan Zanatello was the 50th pick overall in the second round by the Red Sox. He joins us next on 101 ESPN. back to the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Brooke Grimsley, Randy Karraker, great to have you with us. And great to go to the celebrity line and CBC's Nazan Zanatello, a second-round pick, 50th overall by the Red Sox, joins us now from Fort Myers, where he's getting his pro career started. Nazan, thanks so much for taking some time, and congratulations. How are things going?
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Everything's going great. Last few weeks have been kind of busy. Sorry it's taken me this long to get on here with you guys, but as of right now, no complaints, man. No complaints at all.
So, Nazan, just take us through this journey, because you were in Seattle when you were selected, and it was the Red Sox that you were going to. Just take us through going to Seattle. We saw your family there, that whole process and what it was like.
Yeah, so first, leading into Seattle, my mom wanted to have a grad/draft party because, we didn't really know when I was going to get drafted. So it's kind of just like a thought, But then going to draft combine down in Chasefield in Phoenix, I really improved my stock there in the interview process. So I got home and got an email saying that I was invited to go to Seattle for the actual draft. And that meant something good, It was a high chance I went first day. So told my dad, he was like, why not? Let's go to Seattle so we can cherish it and experience it firsthand, But then after that, we got to Seattle. It was a lot of nerves going on, real happy, real excited, real scared because I didn't know where I was going to go. There was 70 picks the first day, so I could go anywhere from 1 to 70, So it was very, very exciting, very scary at the same time. But then just being able to walk that stage and interact with the crowd, the news reporters that were there, be on MLB Network, that was all just so surreal. It was a dream come true. I didn't remember where I was. I put the hat and jersey on, and I just smiled. I couldn't do anything else but smile.
Just zoned out for a minute. It was a great moment to see on TV. It was great seeing your mom, your dad, and your sister there. Did you know that the Red Sox were that interested in you? Because I remember when you were in high school, you had a lot of scouts come around and watch you and talk to you.
Yeah, I did not know that they were that interested, but I did know they were interested for sure because the Red Sox were actually the first team to reach out and scout me. I remember the area scout, Alonzo Wright. He was at everything super early. He was the first scout to come watch a practice by himself. It was our first practice in the winter in February. We were in the basketball gym. He was in there, the first one there. Coach Horn said he got to the door to open the door, and somebody was there asking if I was going to come to practice today. So it was just having that there is really a great feeling.
Nazan, take us inside the green room at the draft. You've had 49 picks. You mentioned that it's kind of a scary proposition. Your family is there. What was the emotion when you got picked, not only for yourself, but for everybody else in your family?
It was just a huge sigh of relief, the wedge finally over, the build-up can finally break down, because there were 49 picks before me. A lot of my friends got picked before me. A few of my friends were in the green room and exited the green room before me, and it was just a great feeling to see them get drafted, but even better feeling for me to get up from that green room and walk the stage.
And then what happened after that? Because as you mentioned, we've been talking to you and following this whole journey. So you get drafted. What happens immediately after that? I know I saw interviews, and you went to the All-Star game too.
Yeah, I did. I went to the Home Run Derby and All-Star game. I actually met Marshawn Lynch and Zach LaVine at the Home Run Derby, which was pretty cool. But then after that, it was kind of just straight to business. I got home. I got back to the hotel that night after the draft, and immediately was getting phone calls and emails, having to sign terms and contracts and talk to my advisor about certain things. So it was kind of just now let's get to work, the dream's over, the dream has come true finally. So now it's just time to get to work and fulfill it.
Nazan, you've got a couple of CBC guys in the majors, and Jake Berger with the White Sox, Matt Vierling with Detroit. Had you had any contact with those guys as you prepared for the draft?
I remember sophomore year, whenever CBC went to state, my sophomore year, right before we left on the bus, Coach Horn FaceTimed Jake Berger. He kind of passed the phone around. He kind of gave us a little words of wisdom, what to do, just stay calm, whatever. And then I never talked to Matt Vierling firsthand, but just going through the process, Coach Horn reached out to me a few times and said, Matt Vierling said he's rooting for me and pulling for me and wishes nothing but the best. So I guess I've had contact with those guys, yeah.
For people who haven't seen you play, you're a five-tool player, very talented. I know that you've pitched before. You played shortstop over at CBC, but also you can play in the outfield. What is your kind of 5-year plan and what you hope to accomplish with the Red Sox organization?
Yeah, so the Red Sox have me on a 50-50 plan. I'll play half the games at short, half the games in center field for the first little fall league we'll play here. So we'll see where that takes me. But for the long run, I think I'll stick at shortstop for sure.
Nazan, who was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old Nazan Zanatello's guy? Who was your baseball player growing up?
I loved watching Albert Pujols. I went to a David Freese camp he had at Lafayette. I really loved anybody on the Cardinals, dude. Like, I was a huge Cardinals fan growing up.
That's so cool. And as a shortstop, was there a shortstop you watched?
Yeah, growing up, I played third base, so I loved watching Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
He was my favorite player for a while. Then we got Arenado, so that was, like, even better. You know, as far as shortstops go, I love watching Trey Turner, and now I like watching Jeremy Pena a lot.
And how excited are you for just this new journey? I know that you were planning on going to Arkansas. Obviously, things have changed now, but how excited are you for this journey and how big this is going to be going from high school, just going ahead and starting your pro career?
Yeah, I'm super excited because it just gives me a kickstart rather than going to college for 3 years, kind of just getting ahead of the ball now is really just the biggest thing for me. Getting that 3-year head start. I honestly can't. Like, it's just my life, you know. Like, I'm doing this every day, day in, day out. Like I said, I've spent maybe 2 days back in St. Louis since I've been drafted. So I went from Seattle to St. Louis for a day, St. Louis to Boston, Boston back to St. Louis for a day to pack, and now I'm here in Fort Myers. So it's like, it's all the ripping and running. Like, it's all going to be worth it in the end, you know.
CBC's Nazan Zanatello, second-round pick of the Red Sox, 50th overall with us on 101 ESPN. Nazan, Brooke mentioned that you're a 5-tool player. What's the strongest part of your game as you start your pro career?
Honestly, I think just my arm and bat. The fielding can definitely improve a little bit in the infield and outfield. But right now, I think my best 2 tools are my speed and my bat.
And what happens in Fort Myers? What's this next couple of weeks going to be like for you?
Yeah, right now I'm on the progressional plan, just getting back in baseball shape, back in game shape. I'm going to meet with their biomechanics team, their sports science team, and they're going to get a plan together for me to prepare to get back into gameplay. So that how long that takes depends on me. It can take a week, it can take a month, but depends on how well I do in the training camps and all that stuff. So should be fun.
How familiar are you with the biomechanics and the tools that you'll be able to use? Did you have those at CBC or any of the clinics or places you were here in St. Louis?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Not really too much in St. Louis, but there were a few, like, workouts I went to and tournaments I've been to, showcases, et cetera, where I've had access to the catapult vest, hit tracks, blast motion, TrackMan, you know, so all that stuff was definitely very familiar equipment.
That stuff is unbelievable, isn't it?
It's so unreal.
Also, you have a high baseball IQ. I think that's something that needs to be mentioned as well. High baseball IQ, and that's just continued to grow over the years. So we're so excited just to see where your career will go.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey, Nazan, we got to ask this one, though. What was the name of your first Little League team?
The St. Louis Red Sox, coached by Brad Boshin.
Oh, wow.
How about that? So was that one of the first things you thought of? Was it, hey, this was just meant to be?
No, that was the first thing I thought of. Not one of that was the first thing I thought of. Immediately, my mom sent me a picture of me and my old Red Sox team together. I was like, I got to post this. Like, it's just a new beginning.
Nice. We're so excited for you and excited for your family, Naz.
Thank you, guys. It's exciting for myself.
Great. Have a great time, and we'll be watching as your career progresses, and hopefully not too long down the road, we'll see you with the Red Sox right here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'll be fun.
It'll be great. Nazan, have a great time. Thanks so much for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem. Thank you guys for your time.
That is Nazan Zanatello, the second-round pick of the Boston Red Sox, 50th overall, and he is quite a prospect. He's going to be either a third baseman or a shortstop at the major league level. He has the ability to play both, and he's in a good spot there with Boston. They've got a really good developmental system, and he'll wind up being a really good player. By the way, if you didn't see, last night 12 teams scored double-digit runs. It was the biggest scoring day yesterday in modern Major League history, trailing only 13 teams scoring that many runs, double-digit runs, on July 4th, 1894. The Cubs topped the scoring by routing Washington 17-3, and Arizona beat Atlanta 16-13. So just an amazing offensive outburst last night in baseball. It's fun to go through the box scores after a day like that, a record-setting day in big league baseball. It's the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley, Super Bowl champ Carey Davis, Randy Karraker. And coming up, we need a fighter for the fight. All you need to do is text in to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YOHO. I'm the only one doing the YOHO here. And just text the word fight with your name in, and perhaps you can fight me next on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been in business for 55 years here in the St. Louis metro area, and they do amazing work for any outdoor project that you want. Whether you're in the market for a fence, I got my fence from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I got a vinyl one, but they have both vinyl and cedar. But if you want a vinyl or cedar deck, maybe you're in the market for a sunroom or a screen room. You're going to turn that deck into one of those. You can do it with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Find them on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. You'll see all the cool things that they do, or you can give them a call at 800-300-4054. And by the way, when you use Chesterfield Fence and Deck during this month of July, tell them Randy Karraker sent you and get 48 months interest-free financing. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Everything has a 5-year warranty, and the work they do is not only really attractive and looks great, but it's durable and it's functional. So if you want to turn your deck into a screen room and maybe put a ceiling fan up, put your big screen TV in there and watch games out on a screen room, it'll make your deck so much more efficient and better. Chesterfield Fence and Deck does amazing work. So here's what you need to do. Call them 800-300-4054 or go to chesterfieldfence.com and get your work done by them. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals yesterday walk it off against the Miami Marlins for their second win in a row in that series. They'll look for a sweep this afternoon. It's a 1:15 first pitch for the Cardinals. They will face their former prospect and pitcher Sandy Alcantara for the St. Louis Cardinals. Dakota Hudson on the other side gets his first start of the year. He did pick up his first win of the season just last week with 3 innings of relief work. He is 1-0 on the season. Also coming up tonight is the MLS All-Star Game, a little bit of a different format. It'll be the MLS All-Stars facing off against Premier League side Arsenal starting at 7:30 p.m. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive, please welcome Randy Karraker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is JR. JR, how you doing?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
Doing wonderful. You ready to take on Randy Karraker?
We'll see how it goes.
All right, here we go. On this day in 1961, this Cardinals All-Star hitter tied a 40-year record when he collected 14 total hits across just 2 days. Is it Bill White, Curt Flood, or Julian Javier?
Let's go with Curt Flood.
The first ever group of franchise tag players was during the 1993 offseason, and 3 players were offered, 1 signed: Leslie O'Neal, Steve Young, and which other Hall of Famer? Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, or Emmitt Smith?
LT.
Only 3 Angels have tallied multiple seasons with 35 home runs: Trout, Ohtani, and who else? Is it Jim Edmonds, Troy Glaus, or Albert Pujols?
Troy Glaus.
Happy birthday to Rick Ankiel. Ankiel was drafted in the second round of the 1997 Major League Baseball draft. Which future World Series champion did the Cardinals take in the first round? J.D. Drew, Adam Kennedy, or Matt Morris?
Let's go Adam Kennedy.
Okay.
All right, we will double check our score and we will bring in Randy Karraker.
JR, how you feeling?
Not great.
No? Not great?
Nah.
Okay, well, we'll see. Randy's been doing Randy things as of late.
Yeah.
We got cookies in here, and they're celebrating. Brooke did a cookie dance.
I did a cookie dance.
Randy walked in. What is that? Is that Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Look at this one.
Cinnamon roll?
All right, kids, here we go. If you're
cookie.
watching right now on the YouTube, Brooke, here, Sean Massey from Plaza Jaguar across the street. Sean, thank you very much. Heard us talking about crumble cookies, and he stopped to bring some by. I've got a picture of me in a Plaza Jaguar convertible.
How did it feel? Did you feel?
Yeah, I shook my shoulders a little bit.
Did you have some driving gloves on in the photo and some nice sunglasses?
You betcha. So, yeah, thank you, Sean, very
scarf?
much. And, man, these cookies, these crumble cookies are... you know what? I'm going to get Carey Davis to eat one by the end of the show.
I'm gonna partake in.
I love this.
Chocolate.
No, we left you one with the that has cookie dough on top of the cookie.
Thank you.
Absolutely delicious.
I appreciate you.
All right, what do we got?
Say hello to JR.
JR, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Good. Take it easy on me here.
I'll do my best. I tell these guys every morning when I'm leaving the studio, take it easy on me.
He won't. All right, Randy, here we go.
I'm ready.
On this day in 1961, this Cardinals All-Star hitter tied a 40-year record when he collected 14 total hits across just 2 days.
In 1961, 14 hits across 2 days. A lot of hits.
That is
probably a doubleheader.
Back-to-back doubleheaders.
Back-to-back doubleheaders. Did you say Hall of Famer?
Cardinals All-Star.
Cardinals All-Star. All right. Well, I'm guessing in 1961, it probably was not Stan the Man. So you've got Ken Boyer, probably not Tim McCarver, definitely not Dal Maxwell. Let's see, 1961 squad, probably not Dick Grote. You know, back-to-back doubleheaders, 14 hits. I will go with Ken Boyer.
The first ever group of franchise tag players was during the 1993 offseason, and 3 players were offered, 1 signed: Leslie O'Neal, Steve Young, and which other Hall of Famer?
1993. Franchise tagged. And so the franchise tag meant that they could not move? Is that what I'm given to believe? Can I get that question again just to clear things up for me?
The first ever group of franchise tag players was during the 1993 offseason, and 3 players were offered, 1 signed: Leslie O'Neal, Steve Young, and which other Hall of Famer?
Okay. And 1 of them signed. 3 were franchised, 1 was signed. So Leslie O'Neal would have returned to the Chargers. Steve Young would have returned to the Niners. I'm saying it was Reggie White that said that God told him to go to the Packers, who ironically also made the highest offer.
Of course, guys. And everything.
Jesus was the reason.
There you go.
For that big,
it's a
big
God
offer.
thing.
Only 3 Angels have tallied multiple seasons with 35 home runs: Trout, Ohtani, and who else?
Trout, Ohtani. I think it's our guy, Troy Gloss. I think it's our former 2008 third baseman. Glossy. I think he led the league one time. He had like 47 for them one year. That's 1. And I think he had multiple 35 home run seasons. I'm going to go with Troy Gloss. He's a good hitter. Troy Gloss told BT that he never dove for a ball. He's never he had my attitude.
Oh.
And he never did. He never dove for a ball.
What the hell are you doing out there?
Just never give 100% because
Not
they'll expect
exactly
it.
the best replacement for Scott Rowland.
Probably not. No, never dove for a ball.
Oh, I need to
Although, 2008, I'm in the Fenway in the Green Monster seats, and he hit a grand slam like 10 feet away from me. Lost it up into the Green Monster.
He was there at the field. He was there to hit.
Pretty cool.
Happy birthday to Rick Ankiel. Ankiel was drafted in the 2nd round of the 1997 Major League Baseball draft. Which future World Series champion did the Cardinals take in the 1st round?
So, remember talking to Walt Jocketty? And Walt and I I love Walt Jocketty. He was one of my favorites ever. And so we're talking about how excited I am that the Cardinals have drafted J.D. Drew, because he had been taken by the Phillies the year before, never signed with them, and he signs with the Cardinals. So that's who the Cardinals took. And so I'm talking to Walt, and he said, hey, I just want you to know, don't sleep on this 2nd round kid that we took, Richard Ankiel. He said, Richard Ankiel, high school kid out of Florida. He's going to be dynamite. And he was, man, did Rick Ankiel have ability. I mean, he might have had the best ability of any young pitcher I have ever seen. But J.D. Drew was the Cardinals' 1st round draft choice, I believe, that year. I'm going to go with it. J.D. Drew.
We have a tie in today's fight. I'm very shocked by that. 2-2 tie between JR and Randy. Randy has a new pad for the tiebreaker, so I think he knows the rules, but we'll go over it for JR. I'm going to read out the tiebreaker question. We're going to give Randy Karraker a moment to think about his answer and write down his answer. Then, JR, you will give your answer audibly. Randy Karraker will say what he wrote down, and then who's ever closest to the pin is the winner of today's fight. JR, do you understand those rules?
Yes, sir.
Randy, do you understand? Do you have a pad of paper?
I got a pad of paper.
You got the rules down pretty good.
I got
down
the
pat.
rules,
Okay.
yeah.
Larry Johnson owns the NFL record for rushing attempts in a singular regular season in 2006. How many times did he carry the rock? Larry Johnson owns the NFL record for rushing attempts in a single regular season in 2006. How many times did he carry the ball? Randy Karraker has given us his answer.
Did you show the tube, Randy?
I did not.
Not just yet. He has given us his answer. What is your answer, JR?
463.
All right, quick math, not so quick. We have a winner in today's fight. Does Randy Karraker move on after stopping a Hall of Famer, or do we have another run potentially here in this week? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Karraker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I'm sorry, JR. Randy Karraker got you just a little bit on the tiebreaker. You guessed 463. Randy Karraker's guess was 412. Larry Johnson has the NFL record with 416 carries, and he was never the same after that, so I'm sorry, JR. Randy Karraker just edged you out in today's fight.
That's all right. I'll take it. I got to the tiebreaker. I'll take it.
There you go. There you go. That happens. A tiebreaker's a good record. Let's talk about these questions. On this day in 1961, it was Bill White who tied a Ty Cobb record, a 40-year Ty Cobb record, when he collected 14 hits across back-to-back doubleheaders. First ever group of franchise tag players was in 1993. Leslie O'Neal signed the tag. Steve Young negotiated a new contract. But Reggie White said no thank you very much and went off to a new team. And like you said, God told him to sign with the coincidentally highest offered Green Bay Packers. Only 3 Angels have tallied multiple seasons with 35 homers. Troy Gloss, the eventual Cardinal, was the first to do it. And then, of course, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. And happy birthday to Rick Ankiel. Ankiel was drafted in the second round of the 97 MLB draft. J.D. Drew is not a World Series winner. Adam Kennedy was the Cardinals' first-round pick in that year. J.D. Drew was the next year after Adam Kennedy. Very high in the draft, but the World Series winner, the kicker there, Adam Kennedy, obviously not with the Cardinals, traded away after his first year with the Cardinals, again, drafted in 97. So a 2-2 tie goes to the tiebreaker. Larry Johnson's 416 carries. Randy just 4 off with 412. A winner in today's fight. JR, thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Job,
Appreciate
JR.
it. All right. So that's JR here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we've got the Bird Watch for you on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Hey, did you know that my friends at Hoffman Brothers not only do appliance repairs, but they do appliance installation as well? That's right, refrigerators, dishwashers, microwaves, washers and dryers, ovens, stoves, and more. Most companies are weeks out on delivery for appliances and on installation of appliances as well. Well, call Hoffman Brothers for a free estimate on any appliance installation, and they can most likely install within 48 hours. Had that problem at the Karraker household with the clothes washer going down, needed a new one, they put it in the next day. Call Hoffman Brothers at 314-664-3011. That's 314-664-3011. Hoffman Brothers, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer that will do amazing work for you. And It's not just, obviously, with appliances and heating and cooling, but they can handle all of your plumbing and drain and sewer issues. They're offering free drain evaluations. And if you have any main sewer lines or drain issues, Hoffman Brothers is the place to call. Learn more at HoffmanBros.com. That's HOFFMANN, HoffmanBros.com, or give them a call at 314-664-3011.
Bird Watch on the opening drive.
Brooke, Carey, Randy, it is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. You can watch us on the YouTube, 101 ESPN STL. You can always hear us on the 101 ESPN app or at 101ESPN.com. Hear any of our interviews brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center on the app as well. It is time for Bird Watch, and Brooke is going to go first.
My bird watch is going to be Jojo Romero. Since being called up, he has been just really good for the Cardinals, especially in last night. What he was able to do in the top of the 10th is exactly that momentum that needed to carry into the bottom of the 10th to allow Nolan Arenado what he was able to do. Struck out 2 in a perfect inning, and that was his second win in his last 4 appearances in that span. He's just been really solid, especially as you have some question marks with Genesis Cabrera and what the bullpen is going to look like moving forward. Jojo at least is a bright spot for right now.
He is. I like him. And he's one of the reasons, obviously, that they were willing to DFA a guy like Genesis Cabrera. And so if he can keep it going, that's a valuable thing for the Cardinals to get in exchange for Edmundo Sosa.
Yeah, it's the energy, too. I just loved, like, the enthusiasm that he had, too, once he got out of that frame. And I just think that that's really good for this team right now to have. And it worked out.
It has.
It worked out very well. Good for him, too. My bird watch is going to be Brendan Donovan. We talked about him earlier, potentially being a trade piece, and I think he has done a stellar job. In the month of June, he hit 307, had an OPS of 845. July, he's 366 so far this month with an OPS of 1.081. He is doing a fantastic job. Solo home run to tie the game up yesterday. In July, he has 15 hits, 10 RBIs so far this month, and he is essentially what you want as your leadoff hitter. I want him on base more. I want him to get to score more, but that's predicated on the guys behind him once he does get on base. You think he had a 20-game on-base streak in June, so you're looking at a guy that can set the table for those big hitters behind you and has some pop in his bat to drive the ball in the gaps and over the fence. So that's what you want from your leadoff hitter. We've talked about it all season long, kind of finding those roles, solidifying roles for every player on this roster. I think Brendan Donovan, as your leadoff hitter, has kind of solidified that role for himself, and it has helped this team.
And he's a pretty nice defensive player. It'll be nice to have him back. He's apparently a week away from being able to throw again, but that's one of the things about Donovan is the incredible versatility. He has 5 different gloves in his bag, and he's got, you talk about tools. He's got the hit tool. Now he can hit for power. Yep. Not the best runner in the world, but he can field, and when he's healthy, he can throw. He's, at the very least, a 4-tool player, and he's a good, even though his foot speed is not the best, he is a good base runner.
Yeah.
So I like having him on my team, too. And that would be one, if I'm going to make my off limits for August 1st, Brendan Donovan is off limits for me.
Okay, Dylan Cease. Just say, even though I know that it seems like the White Sox are not entertained, just saying. Dylan Cease is available in some way for.
Okay, maybe not completely off limits.
Okay, that's what I want to get out of you.
Are the White Sox going to do it? No. That's the thing.
But I like to live in a little fantasy land.
I like that too a lot.
Logan Gilbert of the Mariners. They need a second baseman.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go there.
Yeah.
What about Tommy?
Yeah, I'm not so sure I would go there. Look, the Cardinals are interested in Logan Gilbert. That doesn't mean he's good. I mean, he's.
Yeah.
You can find 3 and 4 starters, right? And he's got ability, but he hasn't established himself as a front of the rotation guy.
Would Dylan Cease be your number one?
Yes,
He's
number one.
Would you still try to go get a number one in free agency next year?
Okay, because you have 2 years of control. With Cease, so he's not that expensive. Right. So you can go out and give. Well, if you're
Nola.
inclined to spend the money for Nola, yes. If you have Nola and Cease at the Nola, Cease, Michaelis as your 1, 2, 3,
sign me up.
Yeah, take your chances with that.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a chat room on the YouTube, which you can see at 101 ESPN STL. And one of our viewers, very respectfully, writes, Randy cares more about having Hall of Famers on the team than on the franchise winning championships. Now, I guess he's referring to the fact that Ohtani and Trout have played for the Angels. But generally, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, are Hall of Famers good players?
Yeah. Probably usually the best of the best.
Yeah.
In every sport.
So, yes, I am more inclined to want a Hall of Famer on my team because I do want them to win championships than a non-Hall of Famer on my team because, for me, this is just me, you win because you have good players. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm having as many good players as possible so that my team can win championships.
So just be like the Angels, right? You have Trout.
Well, but here's the thing.
Win championships, I think you left that part out.
And where's their Chris Carpenter, right? The Cardinals had Pujols, Hall of Fame, Roland, Hall of Fame, Jim Edmonds, borderline Hall of Fame. But then in 2006 and 2011, you had Chris Carpenter at the front of your rotation, and you had a representative starting rotation. I'm just saying, the Angels are better with Trout and Ohtani than they would be if they had in center field and as their DH. I'm just going to throw a couple of names out there: Harrison Bader and Johnny Peralta. If Harrison Bader were the center fielder rather than Trout, and Johnny Peralta were their DH rather than Ohtani, and let me give you a starting pitcher too. If, God love him, Steven Matz was a starting pitcher for them rather than Shohei Ohtani, I think the Angels would be even worse than they are with the Hall of Famers.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm envisioning it
kinda,
right now.
yeah. And I'm just assuming now that Bader and Peralta and Matsy are not going to the Hall of Fame. Just assuming, and it might turn around.
Oh, come on! There's still so much.
They're still great players, very good players.
Yeah, good players.
Not Hall of Famers.
No, and so I'll take even today. If you put me in charge of the Angels, I'd feel much better about my chances to build a world championship squad with Ohtani and Trout on it than without Ohtani and Trout.
Mm-hmm.
So, bottom line, good players equal winning. You disagree, Matthew?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to be.
I
wouldn't have been surprised.
I'm a big fan of mediocrity, so I don't want any good players on my team.
Well,
I was just trying to think of how many World Series teams in the last 20 years haven't had a single Hall of Fame.
Yeah, probably not many of them.
I can't think of many.
What this person is saying too, I'm assuming that they're in the camp of that they would want to move Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt and just kind of tear things down. That's what I'm assuming is what they're going with this. But outside of like that first month for Nolan Arenado, we've been talking about
amazing
how really good he is, and Paul Goldschmidt is Paul Goldschmidt. He's very consistent, where it's almost painfully consistent. You expect good things from him.
Exactly. So, good players. Concentrate on getting good players.
314 does respond with, how many playoff games have they won with Goldie and Arenado?
Well, let's see. I believe with Goldie and Arenado, they have actually been to the playoffs, right? Both years, 21 and 22, and they probably won't make the playoffs this year. But again, I would challenge you to find that World Championship squad that did so without making the playoffs.
You won't find that.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about the Pirates Hall of Famers, okay? Tell me about how things are going in Pittsburgh with all of their Hall of Famers. If you want to play this game, I'm willing to play the game with you right now. Tell me about the Royals Hall of Famers right now. Okay.
What you found one?
Tell me about the Tigers Hall of Famer. Well, you got Miguel Cabrera.
That's probably the team in the last 30 years, by the way. That's won a championship without a World Series, without a Hall of Famer on their roster.
Right.
Is the Kansas City Royals? Right? I can't think of one.
Yeah, they probably did not have one. And the Tigers obviously had Scherzer, Verlander, Cabrera. They had 3, and they did not win a world championship. So it's not an absolute, but if you don't have good players, you are not going to win the World Series. That's the bottom line, and that's our Birdwatch here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, our rush hour reset, the Red Hot Redbirds keep rolling. It's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you're dealing with pain, I've got some great news for you. My friend Dr. Sheen can help you. You know, the older we get, the more pains our bodies can feel, and I've been dealing with pain for quite some time. Sometimes it's my ankles, my knees, my back. Lately, it's been my elbows. They have been hurting, and I thought I would have to deal with this pain forever until I met Dr. Sheen, and he taught me about PBM. What is PBM? It's a big word, easy explanation. It's photobiomodulation. Simple. It's light therapy that helps you heal. The light stimulates the cells in the damaged area, which allows your body to heal itself faster, decreases the inflammation, and it helps eliminate pain and discomfort. Even after my first treatment, my elbows felt great. My physical therapist told me I had much less inflammation than I had had in the past, and I've been doing workouts that I thought I wouldn't be able to do again, and I've been doing them with ease, and that's all because of Dr. Sheen and his help. And if you want to feel better, like you did 5, 10, 15 years ago. Check them out online today at thesvi.com. That's thesvi.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
.902 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champ Carey Davis. I'm Randy Karraker. Your fourth place Cardinals, fourth place, take on the Miami Marlins at 1:15 today at the ballpark. And Dakota Hudson is going to go for the Redbirds against his former minor league teammate, Sandy Alcantara. And that game is 1:15.
We're not going to clap for that?
Oh, we can clap.
Oh, okay.
Sandy Alcantara. Yeah, we can clap for that. He's kind of scuffling this year.
I was thinking of Dakota.
Oh, Dakota Hudson.
His return to the starting rotation.
Leading the league with a 1.80 earned run average.
I don't think he's qualified, Randy.
How many innings?
I don't think he's qualified for that number.
You don't look at the innings. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's just we're just going to ignore that portion of that statistic.
We got to have a few more games under his belt.
You guys are
a few more innings pitched under his belt.
By the way, can I just make a little point here? Cardinals in fourth place, as I mentioned. You look at the other divisions in the National League. I'm looking at the standings right now. You've got the fourth place New York Mets and the fourth place San Diego Padres. One of these things is not like the other. Yeah. One of these things just doesn't belong. Because one of them just isn't in the top 3 in payroll.
Yeah. Does that make you feel a little bit better?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I would love to be in fourth place with a $300 million payroll.
It should make them feel worse, but it doesn't make us feel better.
No.
Just this.
No.
So last night, the Cardinals, they were in danger of losing that game in the 7th inning when Dylan Carlson reached base via a walk as a pinch hitter, and Nolan Gorman, another young Cardinal player, drove him home.
Swing, fly ball, launch right center field. Still there back. That ball is off the base of the wall. It hops up high. Here comes Carlson around third. He's coming home. Throw to the plate. Off target. Gorman ties it up with a double.
Chip Carey the call on Valley Sports. The game goes to the 10th after great work by the Cardinal bullpen. You've got the Ghost Runner, and then you've got Newt Barr on, and Nolan Arenado at the plate.
Nolan Arenado's last walk-off hit. Well, it's been a while. How about one right here? 1 ball, no strike.
Swing drive. Deep left field. That ball is gone. He can jog home.
And he did jog home. The Cardinals win at 5-2 over the Marlins. Redbirds on the night with 6 hits and their 5 runs scored. Oh, by the way, Jordan Montgomery, sensational. 6 innings. He allows 1 run on 6 hits, strikes out 5 and walks 2. He was great. Chris Stratton allows a run in his inning of work, and then Gallegos came on with a scoreless frame. Hicks had a scoreless frame and a couple of strikeouts, by the way, and then Jojo Romero was the winning pitcher, his second win in a week.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals win it by a score of 5-2. They've won 5 out of 6, and they are in fourth place now. They passed Pittsburgh in the National League Central standings.
Ollie Marmol said last night, and this is something that we've been talking about, when you get that kind of start out of your starters, you feel like you have a shot. It's amazing what you've been able to see lately. I don't think it's a coincidence that with this little win streak that we have going on right now with the Cardinals,
4 in a row,
that your starters have been doing their job, and they look fantastic. Are you about to bring up the number? Because somebody texted in about that, and I forgot about that.
Should we do that?
Yes,
Sure.
let's do it.
Well, let's see if we can find it first. That's the most important.
Okay.
But we will. We will absolutely find it. Let me see here. I think we've got, maybe not.
No? Okay.
I'll keep
We do have 4.
But it does make a lot of sense. With the starters setting the tone, that's something that we've talked about. And even Nolan Arenado in his post-game comments just mentioned how much that helps them. It sounds simple, but it feels like that's something that we've been missing at times, where your starters get off to a great start, and offensively they're able to do what they need to do. And it doesn't feel like they're already behind 4-0 so early in the game.
Right.
Also, what about Jordan Hicks and his redemption against the Marlins? Because remember the last time that we saw Jordan Hicks with the Marlins, he just just airmailed it. But he was able to nail that key throw last night to home.
Very good play.
That was great.
Yep.
Ricky Horton was talking about how Jose Oquendo really teaches his young players, and what he believes is a strong young player and a sign that they're going to do well is if they have a short memory. And that's what you wanted to see from Jordan Hicks, is he got that redemption. He got that moment. He was able to move past when he airmailed it the last time he was out there against the Marlins. And I think that that's huge for Jordan Hicks and for the Cardinals. I don't know. Jordan Hicks is going to be hard to part with if you are going to part with him.
That's the thing. But what if you know that you can't sign him?
Do you know that?
Tough.
I mean, you need to. I said this a couple of days ago. The Cardinals are going to have to spend money. They're going to have to, whether it's in free agency, obviously, they're going to have to see a contract, an offer, and go above that offer to entice a player. Sometimes, just going to the number that the other teams are I guess everyone is going to. You're going to have to go above and beyond for a couple of these guys in order to get them to either stay here with Jordan Hicks or to come here with an Aaron Nola or a Blake Snell. That's just part of it. The one thing I was going to say to you, Brooke, when you are a player, you talk about a short-term memory. The funny thing about sports is the ball finds you. When you mess up, when you struggle, somehow the baseball guys, the football guy, it finds you. You have another opportunity. And so that play by Jordan Hicks, knowing what he did the last time he faced that team and blowing that save to throw the runner out at home, just a great play, great decision. And that's after misplaying a ball that was hit right back to him a few batters earlier.
Would you go, Joe Kelly's making $9 million a year. Would you go 27 over 3 for Jordan Hicks?
Yes.
And you have Tink Hence on the way. He's going to be a 100-mile-an-hour closer. You've got Helsley coming back. You've got control of him.
Tink is how many years away?
Probably next year.
24?
Yeah. Middle of next year.
He can, so 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I would that goes into that ushering other players into that role. You allow Tink to be your setup man. Maybe he's your seventh inning guy, and Helsley is the 8th inning guy, or vice versa. And now you can kind of usher him into that role when Jordan Hicks' contract does expire.
Meanwhile, St. Louis City SC is off for the All-Star break. They do take on the All-Stars. Thank you, Tim Parker. Thank you, Roman Berkey. They take on Stan Kroenke's Arsenal squad, his side. And our buddy Tim McKernan has Taylor Twellman on his balloon party every week. And Twellman says that St. Louis City SC is something that he never really planned on.
Buddy, it's insane. The fact we're here in D.C. for the MLS All-Star Game, and we're talking about St. Louis City in first place of the Western Conference, exactly 180 degrees different than everyone in this sport predicted. It's one of the biggest surprises of my professional career, and I've had many. But it is good on Lutz Pfannenstiel, good on the Taylor family, and just for believing in what they're doing, sticking to their guns, and now they need to finish the deal, because for what they have pulled off in the first, 20-some-odd games, you got to be absolutely kidding me.
It is truly amazing. And you do have to give credit, starting at the top with Carolyn Kindle, and then with what Lutz has done and Bradley Carnell and the entire staff over there, which has been sensational. I really do think that they're one of the great sports stories of recent times.
I agree. It's been so exciting to watch. I want to see a championship. I'm ready. I'm ready for another championship here in St. Louis. I want City SC to do it this season because that would even add more to the fairy tale. Or what was it when we talked to Cardinal? It's not even a fairy tale anymore. It's business and the focus of how they're locked in. Yeah. It's been such a great story, and everybody there over at City SC has done a great job of making this happen.
Yeah, and you wonder if the Arsenal ownership really cares about winning a game against a bunch of Americans, even if you've got some people representing St. Louis. Well,
I told everyone in the room today that I have not been able to understand the emotion since 2002.
So you just wonder if the Arsenal owner is really going to be that invested in the game.
Is he going to be there?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, you know what? He might be back home. He might be just back home walking the streets.
I oftentimes get stopped in Los Angeles, and they'll go, "Are you that guy? You assholes, go back to St. Louis."
So he might be back home. You never know.
Interesting.
Well, without getting into all the details of it, I mean, dealing with people with lower incomes wasn't something I particularly looked forward to, frankly.
That sounds actually like no alterations there, right?
In his own words.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, maybe a small alteration.
Does he have any families here? Is still here in Missouri?
I don't think Randy gives a damn.
You know, one time he's from Mora, Missouri, and the Mora, Missouri library had its roof ripped off by a tornado or a storm, and they asked him for $60,000 to fix the roof, and he said, "No, I'll pass."
Are you joking?
No, $60,000.
So why did they reach out? Maybe
because he's rich and he's from there,
and they were just hoping
and
that
they
he would help.
they thought that maybe there was a little bit of empathy on the part of
a soul.
Maybe a soul, yeah, but no,
maybe not.
Not there. No. Okay. That's today's Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we've got Adam Wainwright at the bottom of the hour, but rock and roll is next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. This past winter, my father went through hip and then back surgery. After being active his whole life biking and competing in triathlons, as he got older, the wear and tear led to constant pain and limited mobility. But finally, after getting surgery, he is back to moving around pain-free. He even visited a few weekends ago, and he was able to get around great. He says he wishes he would have done it sooner. You might be in a similar situation, just continuing to put it off, but anyone who has suffered from serious back or joint pain knows how hard it can be to find lasting relief. Here's the thing, though. You don't have to live in pain. You can find that relief at SSM Health Orthopedics. They are the experts at diagnosing and treating joint problems, offering many treatment options, including non-surgical techniques to find the best solution for you so that you can get back to doing the things that you love. So don't wait today. Visit SSM Health/Top Ortho for more information and to find lasting relief.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
After our show, I'm going to interview Dan Dierdorf for the Sunday night show on the 2 Fox, the 101 on Sports, and we're going to talk about the 50-year anniversary of Don Coryell entering the NFL with the St. Louis Football Cardinals. And I was just telling Carey during the break, if you've ever seen the Phantom Catch, and just look it up on the YouTube. If you're watching us, just switch away. Just go to Mel Gray Phantom Catch, and it was clearly a catch, no doubt about it. And the football Cardinals wound up winning that game, but that catch only sent that game into overtime. And Carey Davis was enthralled by the fact that Don Coryell had the ball handed off to Jim Otis 11 consecutive times in overtime to get the ball into field goal position for Jim Bakken's winning kick. The fullback gets the ball 11 consecutive times.
We can do that. Sign me up for that. Now, that sounds like some forward-thinking coaching there, actually. You can hand the ball off. No, 11 times? Who the hell is expecting that? They were going to catch them off guard.
Best offensive line maybe in the history of the game.
There we go.
And, yeah, so they were tremendous.
This makes you think of a question. This is how we're going to start rock and roll today.
Okay.
Which passing offense, Air Coryell, Bill Walsh's West Coast, The Greatest Show on Turf, and let's go with the 2007 Patriots just completely opening up everything. Which offense changed football more?
I think it was The Greatest Show on Turf.
I think it was the West Coast offense because it was, based on the timing and getting the ball out and knowing reads, it was very precise. Yep. Now, I'll tell you this, what Marshall Faulk and those guys did offensively was a matchup nightmare because they had all 5 of their receivers as eligible receivers to be able to catch balls, and you didn't know where the ball was going to go to. And that puts so much stress on defenses. When you have an offensive coordinator that only has 2 guys, 3 guys that you're going to get the ball to, they had 5 people that could catch the ball and make a play. And that is stressful.
And 2 things. Number 1, with the West Coast offense, it extended the running game became the passing game because of the short passes. But the other thing with The Greatest Show on Turf, that changed the game so much that a nickel back became a first-round draft choice.
You had to. It probably did open up because they were in 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 3 receivers often. And so now you do have to have, you can't put a linebacker out there on Ozakim. You can't you really can't put a safety down because now you got 1 safety high, and okay, good luck with that as well. So it was a very stressful thing. And also, like I said, Marshall Faulk coming out of the backfield, lining up in the slot, he did so many things. Linebackers and safeties didn't have a chance. And so now, what are you going to do offensively? And then we're going to run the ball at you as well.
What an amazing quick story. So Don Coryell changes offense in the NFL by coming here in 73. Leaves after the 77 season, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. Bill Bidwell always wants to surprise people. He did with the hiring of Don Coryell as his head coach. He was ready to surprise the world with a new head coach, but the Globe Democrat, St. Louis Globe Democrat, got a picture of his coach that he was going to interview coming off of the plane, coming into Lambert Field. And so he decided to not hire this coach because it would not be a surprise. The coach in the photo in the Globe Democrat was one Bill Walsh. That's why the football Cardinals didn't hire him. And they wound up hiring Bud Wilkinson, who had been legendary at Oklahoma, was 62 when the Cardinals hired him, and was, I think many of the players on that team will tell you, the worst head coach in the history of the National Football League. Great guy, but just not ready for the NFL. So it could have been Bill Walsh.
I like the West Coast answer from Carey only because I don't think people give enough credit for Roger Craig being the absolute 2-way player he was running back, getting 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. I wonder, does the Greatest Show on Turf happen if you don't have Bill Walsh really opening up the running back position?
That was the Coryell offense. That was Terry Metcalf.
And that's
Marshall was what Terry Metcalf was doing in 74, 75.
And then you have the other point with Coryell, though, is other than the one season when Ditka was a rookie and had 1,200 yards as a tight end. Other than that, you didn't have it until Coryell said we're going to use Kellen Winslow, and then all of a sudden the tight end position.
No.
Jackie Smith. You had Jackie Smith in St. Louis, of course.
With Coryell.
But you change how tight ends play, then you get Walsh change how running backs play, and then you get 99.
And you have the ball being thrown 40 yards downfield, and Mel Gray being a matchup nightmare.
I'm just happy. I'm just
stressful.
So happy Don Coryell's going into the Hall of Fame.
Me too.
And nobody better than Dan Fouts to give the speech, which is what will be happening. Another question I had for you guys, because we were talking about the Cardinals trade possibilities. One big thing last year when we were talking about somebody we wanted the Cardinals to bring in was whether or not the Reds would allow an in-division trade. Because the Reds are also a team that needs pitching and the Cardinals are close behind them, is there just is one of the best options for pitching just completely blacked out for you?
Shouldn't be for me. Wouldn't be for me. Might be for the Reds because they don't want to see a young player going to St. Louis and being great for a long time. But I'm trading with anybody, especially now with the fewer games against division opponents.
And you are the Reds. You don't have, like you said, you don't have years where you have opportunities to make runs in the playoffs. So they're going to be looking for any and everything.
I was thinking about this more from a Cardinals perspective because the division's still not completely out of reach. I mean, I'm just saying mathematically, is there? I know.
So now it's not. What?
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Give you the benefit of the doubt here. The math, if you're not completely out, because there's been Cardinal situations where they've been 10 or 11 games out in August and things happen. So I'm just saying is, do you think the Cardinals would even consider looking towards the Reds and saying they have a need for pitching, we have stuff to move? Would they consider it from the Cardinals' perspective?
Close any door.
Well, to your point, I guess what you're kind of saying is that do you basically give the Reds the thing that could push them
and kind of close out the door
fully past you? Yes, I agree with that aspect of it. I don't think that you. I don't know. I think divisionally,
I don't think that would matter because they're not going to be there next year.
And my question is, what are you going to get back for the Reds?
Well, if you're going to make a deal, you think you're going to be better. So if you can make a move,
and they need starting pitching, so then you would be trading Jack Flaherty or Jordan Montgomery for what?
Something that helps you in the
somebody
long run.
that you think is going to make you better.
Somebody that's going to be on your roster longer than they will be on the Reds roster.
Yeah.
All right, and one other quick one, because you guys were talking about Brendan Donovan, and the word untouchable wasn't said, but I got a very untouchable feeling coming from the dais. So Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan, and am I missing the opening drive untouchable
Nolan
Cardinals
Gorman.
right here going into the trade deadline?
Nolan Gorman.
Is that a consensus?
I don't think it's a consensus, but
that's what I think.
Here's the thing.
That's why I didn't put it on the list, Carey.
Don't put Brendan Donovan on the list because I don't think it's a consensus there either.
Here's my issue.
Feeling.
Is if you're going to win, then you're going to have somebody other than Contreras playing the majority of your games behind the plate, right? If you're going to win, unless you're willing to change your management, right, and bring in Madden and his coaching staff, which they are not doing. So you're going to have two DHs. Is there a reason to have two DHs? That's my question. If you can get a number one quality starter, and I'm talking a number one, I'm talking about a guy who starts game one of a playoff series for you, would you be willing to trade Gorman with the knowledge that you have to have Contreras as a DH?
I would trade Donovan before I traded Gorman.
Okay.
And let Gorman play second base.
That's fair.
I'm good with that.
The catching
situation
is interesting.
And I really like Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, I think, everybody likes it. I think it depends on what you would be getting in return for a lot of these players. I don't think anybody's completely off the table other than that core group, which I'm including Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and even Jordan Walker. That's the group that I think that they're going to be building around for 2024. Everybody else, depending on what you could get in return, I think is essentially up for grabs. But when you bring up the catching situation, do you think Ivan Herrera, that they're showcasing him more?
Ooh, they better not be.
Do you think that's what this is? Or do you think that Andrew Knizner is the more likely the catcher who's going to be out of this situation? Because from what I've heard and understand, Andrew Knizner is almost kind of like coaching and leading a lot of these guys.
But Knizner was here, and the Cardinals were saying, Herrera's our guy.
Okay.
And this was 3 years ago. I would hope that their philosophy about Ivan Herrera, as he's gotten better, hasn't diminished. I would hope that they still think that they thought that he was kind of a young Yachty. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that's going to be the case.
So you're comfortable with moving on with Andrew Knizner, despite the relationships that he's built with the pitching staff?
I think
you want all of them.
I want to have Knizner.
You want three catchers?
Yeah. Well, one of them's a DH. Let's be honest about it. One of them's a DH. So I've got two catchers and then a DH that can occasionally play catcher. He doesn't like it, tough. He's getting paid $87 million.
Maybe that's a good discussion for tomorrow is the plan for Wilson Contreras moving forward.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Your guess is good as mine. One other thing, we were talking about City and how exciting we are. One other thing that I'm so excited for now that soccer's here, the transfer window is open until August 2nd, and we have transfer rumors, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Kylian Mbappe. Sorry.
Chris Ron?
Chris Ron?
Chris Ron, yeah.
No,
you're funny.
Sorry, I heard Chris Ron and I ducked instinctually.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, there's reports right now that City is looking for a loan deal for left back Selmir Pedro, and there's also word that they are working on a transfer right now for Icelandic striker Nokvi Thorisson. The Manuel Veth, who is a reporter who's been on all of City's moves throughout all of them building this entire team.
What about the Pulisic rumors?
Those unfortunate. I'm not seeing a lot of backing up on the Pulisic rumors, Randy. I'm sorry. One of the things I read about the Pulisic rumor, they spelled his name wrong, so I feel like it's not too accurate. But they were talking about potentially a 500,000 euro move for Thorisson, the Icelandic striker. If you want to go check out Manuel Veth on Twitter, that's MANUELVETH. He has all the transfer rumors for St. Louis City. We'll see if we get a new striker,
Harry Kane,
winger. But hey, unfortunately, and you know what? I heard he's really mad about Tottenham. Kind of falling off a little bit. It's probably his last year there. I think he really could be. But here's the thing. Does he want to be a backup to João Klaus?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's the question.
Where are you going to play him?
Mbappe, there's some room on the wing. Obviously, with them, going after this Icelandic guy, there's some room on the wing that City has. But the depth, actually, at the number 9, is just not there, Randy.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Adam Wainwright next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey for Window Nation. Are you feeling the heat? High temps aren't the only thing getting you hot under the collar. Wait till you see your high energy bills and your AC repair bills. The solution? Well, I recommend my friends at Window Nation for new energy efficient windows. Your home stays comfortable and cool. Your energy bill sinks as low as it can go, and your AC will avoid any premature breakdowns. Not to mention the incredible savings from Window Nation that they are offering right now. With every 2 windows purchased, you'll get 2 free windows. Plus, you'll put 0 down, make 0 payments with 0% interest for 24 months. That could be up to thousands or more in savings. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Did you know that new windows can save you up to 30% on your energy bills? Increase the value of your home by $12,000 if you have sticky, drafty, cracked, Hard to open or close windows? Well, you need new windows, and Window Nation is the person. They are the company for you. They have installed nearly 2 million windows with a 96% satisfaction rate, making them one of the top window companies in the country. Again, that's 866-90-NATION, or go online at windownation.com. Ooh, that
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals with another win last night, this time in walk-off fashion late in the game. Nolan Arenado, bottom of the 10th, smacks a 3-run home run to win the Cardinals that game. They'll try to sweep this series, the 115 game against the Marlins this afternoon. It'll be Sandy Alcantara, 3-8 on the season with a 4.64 ERA, facing off against Dakota Hudson. Dakota Hudson on the season has one win and a 1.80 ERA through his 10 innings pitched. This is his first start of the season. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's time for Wednesdays with Wayno. On the opening drive, we're talking life, baseball, and what's happening at Big League Impact with Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright.
Wednesdays with Wayno is presented by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
With Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champ Carey Davis, I'm Randy Karraker, and it's always a pleasure to go to the Celebrity Line on Wednesdays and visit with Adam Wainwright, talk a little Big League Impact, talk a little Cardinal baseball and life in general. Wayno, it's been a couple of weeks with your injury and the All-Star break. It's good to have you with us. How you doing?
Good to be back, guys. I'm doing great. It's good to hear your voice, Randy.
Well, it's good to hear yours as well. Hey, I want to start with this because this is unusual for you, and it's unusual for me. Heck, you came in 2004. I was around when the DeWitt family bought into the Cardinals, and this kind of a season is rare for the Cardinals. You've never had to really experience anything like this in your career, where your general manager, president of baseball operations, says we're gearing towards next year. What has this been like with all the injuries and all of the struggles of the ball club for Adam Wainwright?
You know, I actually heard, can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm packing right now. So, you just have to, you might hear some fodder in the background.
No problem.
I actually, in 2011, I heard that same talk, and that's the GM and the president of baseball ops and the owner, they have two main objectives in my mind when they're looking at it. And there's a lot more, but the two main ones are they're going to try to win, right? That's the main one. And the second one is they're going to take care of the organization and try to represent for our fan base as best they can for future years also. So, from their perspective, they're going, okay, look, we might pull off something here, but if not, we have to prepare for what this looks like at the trade deadline as a responsibility to the club. And that's fair, I think. From a player's perspective, from our side of it, especially the way we've been playing a little bit lately, I'm thinking, let's just, let's get about 7, 8, 9 wins right here in a row right before the deadline. Let's get about, what would that put us, 5 games under 500? Let's get about 5, 6 games back in the division and see our front office go, wait a second now. We might can do this. That's the goal from our end. And that's certainly a goal from my end. And that's especially from my end. I'm like, hey, let's push all the chips in and go for it this year. But I think, you know what, it's just not easy to win. You know, it's not easy to win. And almost every team I've seen since I've been here has gone through a year or two like this. We just never have. You know, but in 2011, I remember being at the night of the cauliflower ear dinner, and Mo getting up and saying, look, it's, you know, we're 10.5 back. It's not looking real good. And we'll do the things we need to, and next year is going to be great. And I remember kind of, you know, pushing back a little bit when they came to me for an interview. I remember saying, hey, I'm looking at the schedule, and I see a possibility here. And people are going, this guy's kind of off his rocker. But coming back from that far back, it just empowered me, Randy. It just empowered me. You know, now I'm thinking, shoot, anything's possible. So I just got this problem with belief. You know, I got this big problem with belief that I just can't stop believing no matter what about a number of things. So I'm no different in this situation. I still believe. You know, I still look at our starting rotation, which I know on paper hadn't been great if you just look at the numbers. But Jordan's been pitching great all year. Jack's been pitching great the last couple months. Miles has been pitching pretty dang good the last couple months. Steven Matz is coming around. You should have seen his bullpen yesterday. This guy's really starting to figure it out. The only piece they're missing, Randy, is this old guy. I need to get out there and pitch. And if we got 5 solid guys going out there every week, that gives your team a chance to win every day. So that's where I'm at right now with my mental game. Right? So I feel like it's a good spot for a player to be in.
Well, Waino, speaking of yourself, how are you doing physically? What has your recovery been like during this time? How is your shoulder feeling?
Feeling awesome. I threw a pretty big bullpen yesterday, where I went full warm up like I would for a game, and then I went two like kind of sim innings after that. Which, you know, that's pretty. You would never do that between starts, but I had to do that just to prove that, and I wanted to prove myself too that everything was going the right direction, and I just didn't even think about my shoulder at all the whole time. And that was so good, you know, to feel. I came off that mound yesterday really excited, you know, just it's hard to know when you're hurt, you know, or just hurting, because in my line of work, and Carey, you know this, man, you just don't want to hear the guy who's always got something wrong, you know, complaining, going in the training room nonstop. Like, man, this guy's exhausting. He only knew how I felt. You just don't want to be that guy. So, you know, I probably, if I could go back and know what I know now, I would have done that shot. I would have done those shots a month ago. You know, I would have, and that would have made a big difference. But man, I've seen it too much. I've grinded through injuries before and came out on the positive side, and I tried to do it, and I just, you know, I wasn't able to. So now we're in a good spot. I'm pretty excited about it. Team's pretty excited about it, which is you know, cool to see. Yesterday I got off the mound. Pitching coach was all fired up. Like, dang, I know that guy. And I was like, man, thank God. That's how I felt. So,
will you be doing a rehab stint, or what's the plan for the process of getting you back?
As far as I know, I'm going I've got a bullpen session tomorrow like I would normally, or maybe the next day. I can't remember what they said. Like a normal bullpen, and then I've got I'll have a live sim game in Arizona.
Adam, you talked about trying to get 4 to 5 games back by the deadline. Miles said something a couple of days ago that was intriguing. He said if we can win 10 or 12 games in a row, maybe then we don't have to say bye to some of our close friends. How real is that perspective in the locker room, in the clubhouse, knowing that, you know, this is the trade deadline? We know at the end of seasons, the team is never going to be the same next year, but you all are facing something where the team could be different mid-season or halfway through the season and not be the same towards the end of it.
Yeah, that's the worst part of our job is, you know, you're best friends with a guy. Basically, you see him every day. You spend tons of time. Like, here, Skip Schumacher's an example of this because he's in town. You know, he's one of my great friends in the world. Skip and I, once I got traded over here, we came up against each other when I was with the Braves. But once I got called up over here, or traded over here, AAA, 2 seasons together. First 7 years of our big league careers together. Just spending time. Our kids are raising up together. Our wives hanging out nonstop. And, you know, he's all of a sudden he's in L.A. and Cincinnati, and you just don't see him anymore. And then the kids grow apart, and wives don't see each other anymore. And, you know, you look at your kids and you go, hey, do you remember Brody, Skip's son? And they're like, yeah, I mean, a little bit. You know, and I was like, golly, y'all were connected at the hip until you were 5, 6 years old, you know. So that's the hard part about our job is that on any given day, the guy that you see all the time that you're really close with, he's gone, and you'll never, you know, sometimes you never see those guys again, you know, and the ones you get really close with, you stay in contact with. I still text with Carp and both Carps, Big Carp, Matt Carp, and I still text with like Chris Carpenter and Matt Holliday and those guys. But you know what? The majority of the guys, it's just hard to keep. But life goes on, man. Life moves on, and it's just a tough thing.
Adam, last year, I go out to the field, I'm sitting in the dugout, and Skip pops out and starts playing catch with this 5'10", 5'11" kid. I said, who's that? I couldn't believe it. Could you, when you met back up, could you believe how tall he is?
Well, let's see. I mean, you know, it's relative. He's not that tall because Skip's just a little fella.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
But he is a lot taller than when he was little. That's for sure. You know, that's the Schumacher curse. He grew up to be still little. But I'm teasing. I only said that just in case Skip's listening. And his daughter is just an absolute stunner too. You know, it's just a beautiful girl, and you know, just the same way with he looks at my girls and Caleb, and he's like, where did the time go? You know, it's just crazy. It's a crazy thing. You know, Matt Holliday's son drafted number 1 overall, and then all of a sudden his next son, Ethan, in a couple of years he's going to be the number 1 pick too. You watch, he's unbelievable. So yeah, man, it grows up fast. Kids grow up fast, and you know, it's hard to remember that until you see somebody you hadn't seen in a while. And you're like, oh, my goodness, that's amazing, man.
It's amazing. Hey, have you started your scouting for fantasy football?
Man, no, but I got a text about it this morning. I got a text about fantasy football, or email, sorry, that my league is ready to renew, and I just got real excited about that. I love that time of year. It's the best time of year. You got playoff baseball on the horizon where games start really, really, really mattering, you know, and you got college football kicking up, and then you got NFL football starting up, and man, I just don't know if it's and then fall's right around the corner, which is my favorite time of year. Fall is my favorite time of year. And there's just a lot of good things happening in that time. So, yeah, I'm ready for football, man.
And if people want to join the Big League Impact St. Louis Fantasy Football League, all you need to do is go to bigleagueimpact.org, and you've got a big day coming up on August 18th where people will have the opportunity to come out to the ballpark, play catch on the field, check a lot of things at Busch Stadium out, and all of it will go towards the great things that Big League Impact does.
Yeah, and we want to thank Community America, again, for sponsoring us. And it's also as well Spectrum. Those are our 2 big partners this year in fantasy football, and they've been helping us this year already do a lot of cool things. But we'll have our cook-off event, like you said, at Busch Stadium on August 18th. And me and Stephen Matz, Lars Newtmar, Ryan Helsley, Tommy Edmond, Drew Verhagen. And if we fill up a couple more tables, we'll keep getting more players. So y'all go to Big League Impact .org/STL fantasy football and sign up today. That'd be amazing.
And Adam, this sounds counterintuitive for a sports talk radio show and host, but there is no such thing as a problem with belief.
Amen to that. And well, here's the thing about belief, though. If you don't have it, there's a whole big problem, you know. So you're not winning anything without that. So you know what? I always feel like you might as well hope for the best. You might as well go in super confident and expecting to do awesome and crazy cool things. And sometimes, you know, you come out and you do it. And if you don't, you react and you move on you adjust and overcome. But that's secondary. First dairy. First dairy is winning it. And that's still number one in my priority list.
Wayno, it's always good to hear your voice. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. Again, we want people to go to check out the events tab at bigleagueimpact.org, and we will talk next week.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
See you later. That's our friend Adam Wainwright. Wednesdays with Wayno here on 101 ESPN. He's got a problem with belief.
I don't think that's a problem at all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing about, we athletes. We feel like anything is possible at any time. You're down 30 games back, and so we got 80 to play. Okay, let's go. That's just the belief, the mentality, and good for him. Hopefully everybody in that clubhouse is on the same page, and they are all working as they have been for the last couple of weeks. They're working toward that common goal.
Coming up, there was one thing that I thought was really intriguing about Adam's conversation there. We'll have that for you next as we head down the stretch of this edition of the Opening Drive on 101 ESPN. Hey, be the best for your family and yourself and have more energy and a better attitude by going to Mentality. Guys, if you're beyond the age of 30, you might be feeling a little fatigued this morning. You might not have the physical stamina to get through a run or a bike ride that you used to have in your younger days. And you might think, well, I'm just getting old. Well, when we get old, our testosterone level decreases, and that's why we feel old. But you don't have to feel old all the time. You can cure those issues of low energy and low motivation and fatigue by going to Mentality and taking advantage of an FDA-approved testosterone treatment. What their board-certified physicians are going to do is a complete panel on your blood work to find out where your testosterone level is. And then they're going to prescribe a regimen that will get your testosterone level back to where it was in your younger days. And they're going to work with your insurance company so that the testosterone replacement is super inexpensive. All you need to do is go to lowtusa.com, set up an appointment in their clinics in either Chesterfield or South County, and get back to being the guy that you want to be with Mentality at lowtusa.com.
I could go back and know what I know now, I would have done that shot. I would have done those shots a month ago. I would have, and that would have made a big difference. But man, I've seen it too much. I've grinded through injuries before and came out on the positive side, and I tried to do it, and I just, I wasn't able to.
Adam Wainwright joining us in his last segment here on 101 ESPN, trying to battle through inflammation in his shoulder without substantial, i.e. shots, medical help, and now he got the shots and the shoulder's feeling great, and he is ready to bounce back and hopefully be the pitcher that he thinks he can be.
Randy, he could have called me about that shot. I'd have told him to take that as soon ASAP. We used to line up. Pre-game.
Yeah, that used to be an October. Yep. That used to be an October ritual.
Yeah,
back in the day. Baseball, I don't think allows it anymore, actually.
Good times.
But it's really interesting when you get behind the scenes of that 06 team that all of a sudden got healthy for the playoffs.
Hey, man.
The shots may have had something to do with it.
What does it feel like? Is it just instant?
It's like you don't feel no pain.
Really?
Yeah, but until one.
Do you feel like you could run through a brick
Probably.
wall?
I mean, it takes. So if you have soreness, if you're dealing with something aching, painful, it just kind of subsides for about 6 to 8 hours.
Oh, that's
but
nice.
that 1 a.m.
Well, hopefully Waino will come back, and I don't think this was Toradol. I think it was an anti-inflammatory, but hopefully he'll be able to come back and be the pitcher that he was for most of last year. And I get a kick out of the people that say, oh, he should have retired after last year. Number one, trying to make up his mind about his life for him. But the other part of it is that he did throw 190 innings last year with an earned run average below 3.5. It wasn't like he was terrible. How thrilled would people be if you had a pitcher this year that had a 3.5 ERA and gave you 190 innings? Just one guy,
yes.
right?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Very excited.
That would be amazing. You hope for the best. And I think some people, because we already got some text messages coming in like, oh, tell him he's stealing from the organization thing. It's so crazy to me that that's still continuing to come in. I understand. I think we all understand what has happened with Waino this season.
Can I make a quick point here, Brooke? And I'm sorry to interrupt. But one thing that we all have to recognize is that there has to be a stupidest person in the world.
There
does.
Okay. There's some dumb takes that people have, dumb ideas.
Dum-dums.
I'm not saying
that person is, but you're saying that there is a person that is. Yeah.
Yes.
If you feel
there has to be a worst doctor.
You don't want to find that person.
No.
Let's not.
I don't want to be.
No, I don't want to.
I've had multiple surgeries, and so, when I go in, like if it's my shoulder, I'll have to put an X on that shoulder. Like, no. I write no on the whole. I wrote it all over my arm. Yes on this arm. Because, there are people that go in for surgery and come out and have surgery on the wrong knee, wrong shoulder.
Blues had a guy that had that with his wrist.
I take a marker and make sure they give you one now. Hey, I write no.
No, it's not great.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was something that happened, huh?
Yep. So we've got a balloon party coming up. Cardinals with a day game today, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Thursday, so Greg Amsinger will also join us, hopefully, here on the opening drive.
Do we have the lineup?
We do. You guys want to run through it? We've got a minute to run through it. Just give us the lineup because I got to get up early because I got to interview Deerdorf.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it. I'm sorry. Hold on. I didn't have it ready right this minute.
It's okay. Let's say a great job by Matthew Rocchio today.
Pleasure.
She's panicking.
Okay, here we go. All right. I was nervous. Okay, Dylan Carlson is going to get another start in center field. Do you want the full lineup rundown?
Yeah, please.
Donovan is your DH. Goldschmidt, first base. Lars Nootbaar, left field. Arenado, third base. Gorman, second base. Herrera is your catcher. Burleson in right field. DeYoung is your shortstop. And Carlson is your center fielder.
Who led off?
Brendan Donovan.
Okay, good. Carlson in center. Great job, Brooke. Thank you.
Yes, I was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was. CD?
My man.
Hey, we appreciate you tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great day, St. Louis.
That's right.